Hello and welcome to unMadeGaming, guys. It's Wednesday, and that means it's final day. The final day. It's the final countdown. How's that microphone now, guys?
That's way better. Perfect.
Cool. Perfect, guys. I switched it and I switched it back. I turned it off and turned it back on again, and it worked just fine. So, we're back here with the season finally, nailed it, of season 1 of 6 and 20, The Shroud, here today. And we're fancy because, as I said before, fancy people are winners. Someone who's not fancy, nor a winner. Johnny, who are you? What are you doing here? And why should anybody care?
Well, I screwed up my last introduction, so I'm going to do much better this time.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Johnny. I am a variety streamer occasionally on Twitch, but I also am the GM for 6 and 20, which is this weird, crazy sort of collaborative show thing that we're doing on 2 channels. And next season, we're going to do 3 in about a month. But, you know, hey, we'll talk about that on Friday. Yeah, this is Blades in the Dark. And I'm the crazy guy who decided that 2 shows a week in one shared world with 10 people who are absolute maniacs is the right thing to do as a game master. So that's me. Who's next?
Sweet. And arguably the second prettiest girl on stream, X-Mr. Ninja, who are you? What are you doing here? And why should anybody care?
Guys, I lost my eyeliner the other week, and I think I found it on Unmade's face. True story. I don't know where it is. I run a gaming channel. We watch movies together. We do fun stuff and things, and also stuff. Mm-hmm. But I'm super excited for tonight's game, as I said. I think it's going to be interesting, and we'll see. We'll see if anything shitty happens.
Sweet. Wars, thank you for those bits. Johnny, get fucked. Last but not least, Slade, who are you? What are you doing here, and why should anybody care?
So I'm the prettiest girl here.
Yeah, arguably.
Yeah.
You are the bottom.
Yeah. Settle down. Yeah, I'm Slade for Cryptdice Gaming. You can come on my channel and watch D&D games, Overwatch games, and me. New hobby that I've got, mess around with Johnny. It's a personal favorite of mine.
Do people always come on your channel to watch games?
Every day.
He has a lot of people come on his channel, actually.
Last night.
Yeah, he's got.
As soon as you...
He has more people than you think that come on his channel.
Strangers sometimes.
So, Johnny, before anyone comes on my channel, what are we doing today?
We are finishing this up, whatever this crazy madness that it is. So where you guys left off is really kind of interesting because you run into what I would call the first big snag of your career, right? So you guys had this really awesome plan. It was a great score. You rolled a really great engagement roll, and you're going to take the Leviathan parts that you stole from the North Hook Company. You're going to deliver them to the Hive, who has made arrangements to have them processed and give you a share of the profits. But, and this is a big but, complications happened. And luckily, your engagement score saved you, allowing you to actually discover that the North Hook Company was paying very close attention to the particular dock that you had arranged to meet the Hive on. And now you're dealing with the repercussions of that. So, if I remember where you guys left off, Violet and OC on the boat, moving basically off to further down, while Violet had basically created this this cover, this fog cover, allowing you guys to kind of pass by, while Bowerbaum, going on as Bowerstone, and Nyx were checking out the circumstances on shore, essentially on the docks that are attached to the rail yard. But if I remember correctly, Nyx was just making his way to go talk to the commander or whoever is there, as he kind of dirties himself up, handing Bowerstone back his beautiful, wonderful jacket after 9 episodes, thus cementing the fact that it truly is Bowerstone's. And then you were going to engage these individuals that were kind of standing at the head of the dock, essentially. So, where do you guys want to begin?
He also looked like a homeless person.
Yeah.
Huh?
He also made himself look like a homeless person.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
But I'm still not sure, how well that worked out for you because, now you're all dressed up and pretty.
It's true. I mean, to be fair, I'm always pretty, just I'm dressed up now.
But you don't always wear the guy liner.
That's true.
All right, sweetheart, calm right down.
So I'm thinking you guys start off.
So
Whatever
he's
you're
on
doing.
bottom. Is that... It's the finale! Yeah,
As soon as he puts on the eyeliner, he gets all sassy. Gives him confidence.
it's true, it does. It does.
That should be our sponsor. What eyeliner is that?
Is it Revlon?
It's maybe
Sponsored by
maybe it's
sponsored by me.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Yeah, so Nyx has taken his hook and he has carved up some of the shirt he's wearing, cut some holes in his pants, rubbed some dirt on his face, and made himself look really grimy. And then he very dejectedly turned to Bowerstone and gave him his clothes and told him, I believe he told him to go meet up with everyone else and that he would handle this. And he started walking off towards the Northhook people.
Okay, so as you're walking out towards the Northhook people, I want to get a sense of what Bowerstone is actually going to do here. Are you going to essentially follow his lead and go find the two of them, or are you going to pay attention to what's going on? I mean, you are the bottom. I mean, the bomb.
For this part, he will listen to Nyx, just for the fact this is an incredible load of Leviathan. Shut up. Your face then. That has gone basically absolutely off the rails. The plan has failed, and he's not too confident in what's happening, so he's going to rely on Nyx's plan and follow that.
All right, so then what we'll do is we'll cut back to Nyx. And how are you approaching these individuals that are basically standing at the head of the dock that is attached to the rail yard? So let me reset the scene for you about what you're walking into.
Sure.
So when you guys noticed them from a distance as you were bringing your boat up the larger, essentially, inlet that where most cargo barges and various gondolier boats can come and actually drop merchandise off or other types of packages or cargo off to the rail station to be distributed, across the Imperium. You were very lucky to notice very quickly as you made that turn and started to approach the docks from a great distance that you noticed that there was an unusual amount of activity on the dock that you were going to go to. And so it's a big long dock in the middle of the canal. And if you switch over to the map real quick, we can take a look and I'll ping exactly where we're talking about, right? So we're talking about right here. And so you notice there were 6 individuals actually on the dock proper itself. It leads out pretty far into the actual canal water. This river, this waterway that's essentially quite large. And that there was a larger number of individuals that looked to be Scovelin mercs with a couple of people in some sort of dark uniforms that you eventually recognized to resemble Northhook Company representatives. So with all of that in mind, you are now approaching a slightly lesser size group because Violet had the fog. She used her Tempest ability and had the fog kind of move in across the water in the area, thus obscuring and making it incredibly difficult. And so they sent more Scovelin mercs onto the dock itself to help with actually looking for and seeing the boat that they are expecting to come up. In no way do you see anybody who is supposed to be your contact for the hive.
Okay. First of all, you're on the wrong layer. Second of all, before I get into this, guys, I will remind you that today is the second to last day that you can get involved with the Blades in the Dark giveaway. !Blades in the chat will take you to the link. It'll take you to our Gleam, and you get a chance to enter to win a free copy of the book for the game we're playing here. The winner will be announced on Friday. Also, if you look along the top of your screen, those are our micro goals, and as soon as we hit any of those goals, everyone on screen gains new position. And if you want to throw money at us because we look so fancy, or to interact with us in good or bad ways, it's !BITD, BITD in the chat, and that will take you to the very unique Blades in the Dark donation goals or donation rules for this game. So yeah, Nyx is going to walk over to these guys. Now, did any of them look more important than the rest of them?
The ones dressed up in Northhook regalia of some kind are the ones that appear to be giving the orders. There's 2 subordinates and obviously one man who is definitely in charge.
So he's gonna try to get as close as he can without anyone stopping him. Like as soon as someone gets his attention, it's like, oh hey, what are you doing? He'll stop, but he's just gonna walk and like shamble like a trudge, you know, the low, slow trudge of a man who has nothing to lose.
Okay, but so you're doing this trudge. Is this? But how? I mean, so let's think about. Let's take a step back and think about how you're doing this approach. Is it directly to them? Like, is the demeanor and the manner such that you look like a drunk, basically just kind of mindlessly ambling toward them? Or are you just kind of skirting them a little bit to try to get, to diffuse their curiosity about you as you approach?
No, he's a homeless guy, and they're in his homeless area, so he doesn't really care. This is his house. He'll walk right through him. Yeah, he'll walk right up to him. What are they gonna do? Beat up a homeless guy? I'm like, oh, this is the shittiest day of his life. Every day is the shittiest day of his life. He's homeless. So yeah, he doesn't really. He wants to know why they're there. So he just kind of walks up.
As you're kind of stumbling forward, when you get about 25 feet out, two Scoblin mercs immediately kind of move towards you and start to push you back. And says, "No, you can't go this way." And they're starting to really kind of push you back and away.
Whoa! What do you mean I can't go this way? What are you saying?
North Hook business. Get out.
But I live here. You on the dock? I live on.
It doesn't matter. Get out.
Where do you want me to go? I don't have any other home. You took my home. It's at the dock.
One of them starts to pull their blade.
Well, you gonna stab a homeless guy? What is you got like 30 scoves here? What are you guys doing?
The other one begins to pull his blade and look back over to the North Hook guy.
Is that guy in charge over there? Can I ask him if I can get the stuff out of my home that you guys took? I'll leave. I just want to get the stuff out of my home. I'll live on the rail car or something. I have like a hat. It could rain. I don't have a jacket on. I have holes in my shirt.
When the guys look, the second one is looking over as the first one has his blade drawn and is looking at you. How loud do you say what you just said? Like, are you
loud? Yeah, he's pretty loud.
Okay, at that moment when you say that this dock is your home and you just want to grab your stuff, the more important of the three, North Hook, looks over and says, "Wait, he lives here? Yeah, bring him. Hold him at a distance, but bring him here."
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I'll come. Don't worry about it.
And as you start to shamble over there, the two Scovelin just basically pick you up by the arms and lift you up off.
Oh, okay, there we go.
And as you move closer, two more Scovelin just kind of flank the three North Hook.
It's like a party of scopes. It's like the Unity Wars all over again, eh? Ah, you know about it. You were probably there.
The grips on both your arms begin to tighten a little to the point of pain.
Ah, well, okay.
What do you know about this place? The individual that it looks like he's in charge of the three immediately looks you straight in the eye and says, "What do you know of this place?"
What do you mean? There's a dock. There's like a bunch of, I guess you call them like skiffs or something. Sometimes the train comes and drops stuff off. Sometimes the other guys come over and take stuff off the boats. What are you looking for? Anything particular?
When were you last here?
Like I don't know, a day ago, I guess. Well, I don't have a watch, so. And it's dark all the time, so it's real hard to tell when the day is. Plus, I drink a lot, so...
He motions to them, and they begin to carry you over to the water itself, and begin to dangle you over. Now, as he's doing this, he looks a little frustrated, but he follows them and says, "I don't need any of your games. I just need to know who frequents this dock, besides you."
Like this one particular one here?
Yes, this particular one. Answer the question.
Oh, yeah, no, he's a guy that works out of, I think, the night market. A big, tall, black guy. Could be a Ruvian sounding, I think, maybe. He's got, like, a shaved head, I think. And, he's got, like, I think there's, like, a Scove guy that works for him. There's this little girl that follows him around. I think it's, like, a pet. She also has a pet. Too, I think it's like a relationship. I think it's real weird. I don't really talk to him. The guy's real rude. He's got this creepy thing about him.
Okay, so what are you trying to do here? Are you trying to convince them? Are you trying to?
Originally he was trying to just find out why the hell they're here, but now that you've questioned me and harassed me into giving you my boss's name, God. He says, "Yeah, no, are you looking for him? Is that what you're doing here? You got looking for the big bad guy?" He's got a carriage sometimes.
When you give the description of Sky, He pauses a little bit.
Word of our community's acclaim spreads.
He goes like this, and he says, "Hold on a second. Now, I'm going to need you to roll something because I need some sort of chance to be involved in all of this. Otherwise, I'm going to roll a freak.
I bet you do. Yeah. So is that?
Or we're going to do a fortune roll.
Is that the end of his line of questioning? Because he hasn't really said.
No, he's going back. He's definitely going back to consult with the other two individuals that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll roll you a sway.
I want the fate. I want dice to determine the results.
I'll give you some sway. What's the worst that can happen? I pull a fucking Bowerstone.
Well, that happens all the time.
So what's the position of this roll? Desperate?
Well, you are being physically held and potentially being gutted. So yeah, I could say that this is desperate.
Okay, so desperate. What's the effect? Standard to great?
I'm gonna say standard unless you guys can argue otherwise. The reason I say that is because you're not in a position where that information is going to immediately have an effect.
That's true.
On a positive note for the score, but it could have long-standing.
That's true. Yeah. So like right now, I think it's standard then.
Okay. You could always use one of your positions to increase it, though.
Oh, you know what? I do have a shitload of. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna spend two of my bonus positions to gain one bonus dice.
All right. So you are down to 1.
Yep. 4.
Okay. So he starts conferring, and the grip on the two Scovlands, the mercs have on you hasn't released. Your arms are starting to go a little bit numb, even though you're under your terrible physique of grunginess and whatever, you do have that athletic build going on, but they're holding on to you so much that it's just like they're kind of cutting off the circulation a little bit. So, and that's the consequence. But the individual that you were speaking with kind of turns around, looks at you, and says, "Are you sure that description is accurate?"
Which one?
The tall black one with the potentially the Eruvian accent.
Yeah. No, I think he's got like a tattoo or something. Like a flock of birds, I think is what it would look like. Like a series of birds last time I saw it. I don't know his name, but he's got a symbol on his car, his carriage. It says like a D on it, the D name. And I always see him heading back to Night Market, but I guess really that's the only place you head back to. He doesn't go to Coleridge, that's for sure. Definitely he goes back towards the market.
Shakes his head. He says, "Get him out of here." And as he does
my hat.
No.
Oh.
Get him out of here. And they basically escort you back in the direction that you came from and throw you. And just as you land, there's a little plink right next to you that lands, and it's a silver piece, essentially. It's a coin, essentially, that they're throwing you for your hat.
Okay. I thought it fell out.
And then they both throw the Scotland mercs draw their blades and are pointed at you.
Okay. Yeah, he scrambles and grabs that, and he says, "All right, well, fine. I'll just buy a new hat with the one of these. I'm gonna get shit faced. They're probably the latter." Okay. So, please don't stab me, but I have a question, real quick. Especially like you, if you could answer it, that'd be great. Guy in the back there, other big Scove. No? Okay. All right. You sword guy. When can I go home? Is there like a time frame that I could come back? 2 days, 1 day, 6 weeks?
First one pushes the tip of the blade towards you, almost reaching your chest.
Okay, so I'll try again tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hope you're having a great day. Watch out for the ghost or something.
Pokes you very slightly with it.
Okay. All right. I get it. I'm going to go. Have a great day. Good luck in the next war. And then he leaves.
Okay. So as you begin to amble away, you see the individual of the Northwood Company in charge start to dictate something to one of the subordinates who appears to be writing it. And right after that, the subordinate hands the note off to a courier who happens to be waiting right there to pass to take messages, and that courier takes off. So, as you're kind of ambling back, you still see them kind of, desperately looking into the waters, trying to figure everything out. But for the moment, they are perplexed about where this shipment is that's supposed to be coming in.
Okay.
And we're going to switch to Bowerstone. Bowerstone, where are you?
So Bowerstone would pretty much be running along to try and catch up with the boat. Not giving two shits. And then he's going to try and jump onto the boat to let them know basically what's going on.
Okay. So you're going to lose sight of the boat because it goes into the fog, and you're not going to be able to see where it actually berths farther down the water. So that's going to be pretty obvious to you.
So
how do you
I'm
want to?
guessing that the fog is like constantly with the boat.
So the fog essentially covers quite a large area along the waterway between Coleridge and Night Market. Mm-hmm. So it extends from that bridge that's all the way on the right side of the map, pretty close to the bridge where Night Market is on the other, so on the left side of the map essentially. So let me ping that for you. So the fog extends pretty much from here to almost here.
Oh, gee. Okay.
So, I mean, Violet did a really good job in kind of providing cover. The problem is that in providing the cover, she really did separate you guys.
Yeah, she did. And if I'm unable to see the boat and I'm in uncharted territory, oh god, the plan is really not coming together. And
Flashback.
Flashback to doing what?
Yeah.
You get a ride nearby in case something went wrong.
Flashback. What's going to happen if it all goes tits up?
I don't know. You guys tell me.
We knew this was risky, Maybe have like a cart waiting for you a few streets over from the thing.
Have an escape route. So basically where it is
or
here.
take the tunnels.
Tunnels is risky. I have to go over here to use tunnels because that's the territory. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to head through Night Market.
We have maps of tunnels all over the city.
Yeah, but I got to move through Night Market.
Why do you have to move through Night Market on the surface to get to those tunnels? Just out of curiosity, I'm curious what your logic is.
Like the tunnels, if I remember correctly, the tunnels don't go through the waterways, correct?
Oh no, they do not. So you would
so
definitely you would definitely have to return to the surface to cross the bridges, or take to catch a gondolier between the 2 points. So what do you want to do there?
I'll catch a gondolier to get from the 2 points.
Okay, so I mean, you would know.
Yeah,
I'm not going to have you take any type of cost specifically for a flashback for this, because this would be the kind of thing that you would be able to commonly do. So you can circumvent around to essentially one of the points on the water around Night Market, allowing you to essentially just pay for passage between Night Market to Six Towers or wherever else it is that you want to end up.
Yeah, and Reymond, he'd be visibly aggravated by just everything going wrong.
Okay.
He loves his plans being, night so precise and whatnot, and it's just all gone horribly wrong.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. So we'll cut to OC and Violet. OC, what's going on?
So Violet and I would be waiting off on the side, just kind of hanging out, seeing if we hear or see anyone. And there's a boat that goes by.
And you recognize the form of Bowerstone in a gondolier boat. As you're kind of passing by, you have better visibility in there than he does, because Violet is currently able to kind of shift and control it a little bit to kind of disperse it, so that you essentially can kind of see through the fog a little bit better than everybody else.
Okay.
So.
So do I see a gondolier on there?
You do see a gondolier on there.
Do they look familiar?
So you're gonna go with that
because we were worried. Obviously, if we see another ship, even if he's there, he could still be caught. So we'd probably be cautious as they approach.
You do not recognize the gondolier, but you do recognize the occupant of the boat, and that's Bowerstone.
Okay. I'm going to ask him what's going on.
Well, it's probably at a little bit of a distance. So are you gonna move this?
Yeah, we'll move towards them a little bit to see what's going on, but cautiously.
Bowerstone, as you're anxiously upset with everything that's happening, this shape comes out of the foggy darkness, and you recognize it as the boat that is the Shrouds, kind of sliding up alongside. I assume you pay the gondolier and then jump onto your own boat at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that all happens, and you guys, the three of you, are back together, only leaving Nyx off in the cold somewhere.
Okay. I will ask if everything is kosher. Is everything okay? Should we move our boat? Are we in the way? She'll kind of look at him like,
I knew I shouldn't have listened to him. This seems so perfect, and I don't know. He's gone off and bragged. He gave me back my coat, which is lovely, but it didn't go to plan.
We still have our boat afloat. Would you like us to take the boat somewhere else?
We can't deliver the load. And I don't... What is with you on that word? We can't deliver it.
Okay. I am going to...
Or we take it to another dock.
I am going to ask Violette to take the boat with the foghounds to the boathouse.
Okay.
And to meet us back at the Vale. At the
Vale House? At the Vale or at Eden?
I guess at Eden. Eden would make sense. So that we can start preparing. Like, she can meet us in our more private quarters, so we can get ready.
Right, and she definitely... go ahead.
Oh, hey, Slade, just a real quick question. It's super important. Slade, what temperature was the load, would you say? Is it a hot load?
Wow. All right, then. Yeah, okay. Anyways, so she agrees with you because of all of the spectral activity on the water. That tends to be a really a safe bet for you to have somebody who's a whisper on.
Is it going to take her a while to unload this load? Or is she going to meet us at a normal time? I tried so hard.
Get season finale. Goodbye.
I tried. Okay, sorry. So I will.
This is the last time I ever say load.
The cargo can be administered by your asset. You okay there? Do you need a fan? Are you having the vapors?
So what you're saying is we're gonna let our asset.
Stop! No. Stop it. This is a load of shit, and we need to hurry up and move on with the story.
It's a hot load of shit.
All right, so I'm gonna get in the gondolier's ship, and something that OC looks a little bit off about the gondolier.
Okay.
As they ride towards shore, so that they can, head back to. OC is going to head back to one of her main establishments and kind of get people ready, and people are bringing dates. Obviously, who wants to bring their wife? So a lot of the women are I bought them, nicer clothes and everything, and we're getting ready. So I'm going to go back there. But on this boat ride, I'm kind of grilling the gondolier a little bit because I'm still a little wary about, when you're closer to the ship, you can kind of see that there's stuff in it. So, why isn't this person turning us in or having issue?
I'm going to give you a reason, and it's not going to be the reason that you like. because I know what you're trying to get to, and I'm going to tell you something a little bit differently than what you want. All right. So the reason is because this wonderful young woman paid this particular gondolier to be in the area because she assumed that there would be some need to have somebody that they can trust, was her words specifically. And when he tells you this, and he gives you a note when you ask about it, and it is clearly from Nye, because it's in Nye's handwriting. Because Nye,
she could be like, "Where'd you get this? Who gave this to you? Where are they?"
6 Towers.
What do they look like?
It was a young woman. She paid me a good penny to do this. She looked like a courtesan, if I'm being honest. She said that the note would make everything clear.
Okay. We have to get back now, Bowerstone.
What do you mean?
Everything is still going according to plan. We will deal with this later. We must prepare for the gala.
Okay. So you guys are heading directly back to 6 Towers now on the gondola. On the gondola. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm going to be on the gondola, and then Violet's going to take care of the
Violet is going to go. Right, Violet's going to go back with the shipment to your newly acquired boathouse, which was your crew perk, and she's going to make sure that the shipment is secured, and then she's going to meet you at the Vale as well. And Bowerstone is going to be angry and ranting and going with you to do that.
He can drink downstairs while I get ready.
I'm not sure he wants to drink with the individual that's downstairs at Eden, but let's not talk about that.
I meant at the establishment. I'm going back to the establishment because especially now that I know. Oh,
okay. So then it means you guys are going to Silk Shore. Okay, fair enough. All right, so you're going to Silk Shore in order to get ready. Bowerstone is going off to go with you. And we're going to switch over to Nyx. Nyx, with this information that you've just planted, the score isn't looking too well. What are you guys going to do?
Can he see the score from where he is?
Can he see the
boat?
No, it's been obscured from you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he sent Bowerstone, and Bowerstone has proven relatively capable recently. So he assumes everything is well in hand. So he continues being a homeless person and leaves. Or he walks out of sight of these people, and eventually he, straightens himself up and walks through Coleridge.
Okay, so does that mean that you're giving up on the score?
I don't. So Nyx has no idea what the score is. He assumes everyone took it where it needs to go.
No. That's the shipment. I'm talking about the mechanic that is the score. Because you guys were supposed to deliver this to the Hive, but you have not successfully delivered this to the Hive. So you can either continue to take actions on that, or you can continue. You can start to prepare for the gala and go directly into downtime.
So I'll let them answer that because Nyx is going to assume that we're going to continue finding a way to give it to the Hive.
Maybe send them a note.
I'd say we're going to cancel the score. This is for Reymond. Cancel the score until it's fully planned for again. Because all this, okay, let's change the plan, let's change the plan this way, change it. He doesn't like that.
Can we continue it by sending them a note asking, like he can reach out to his contact and we can deal with it later in that regard? As far as like wait for a response?
So that would be giving up on the score and then restarting the score at some later point, because what you're trying to do is to coordinate a new set of actions. All that being said, if you can give me a reasonable explanation as to how that would continue the score, like for example, you send a note, you get an immediate response, and you guys are going to move the shipment to that new location, I'm okay with doing that too.
But we have the Foghounds; they can move it for us. We're not going to be there.
You do have the assets. They can move it, but you all were there basically acting as the security while they were acting as the muscle to move the cargo, essentially. So it's if you leave it in that particular circumstance, then the result of it will be or the way to determine what the result is will be a fortune roll.
Okay.
So that it'll be left up to fate, essentially.
So where is the boat right now?
It's at the boathouse. which is in Charter Hall. 6 Towers.
6 Towers.
Where did we decide that it was on the? It's on the shore somewhere by
the Eden.
It's right. It's right to the right of that little orange square.
Right. So there's a little canal inlet because the canals go under most of the city too. They're incredibly small access ways through the various parts under the districts, and there is a canal that leads directly to the underground of Eden. So that is where your boathouse is. That is where you're currently situated.
So you're saying that the boathouse is right
Enjoy
near
your stay.
Is right near Eden. So it's like right over here.
Right near where the actual location of Eden is.
It's one block away.
Under the church.
Okay.
Right.
Cool. And you're going where? You two are going where now?
I'm gonna go deal with whatever's happening in Silkshore. I got a letter from Nye.
Right.
So I'm gonna quickly go do that and then go to the gala.
And
meet you guys on time for when it
Bowerstone
starts.
is going where?
So he's going to go to his warehouse.
Okay. What if you go to Night Market? They know you as Reymond Bowerstone, and then Nyx has to go. He's going to cut down through Coleridge anyway. He can't really go around to Night Market. So he'll cut down Coleridge and he'll go to your place.
Sounds good.
So we can continue the score if Bowerstone can talk to someone from the Hive. I think that's what the plan is.
We'll drop them off then on our way.
Well, so he was. Well, hold on. You guys were just in Night Market, and now you're heading to Silkshore. You need to get back to Night Market, right?
So we're at 6 Towers right now because we just dropped the boat off. So one of us is going to head to Night Market.
Mike, there's 2 boats, Mike. There are 2 boats. We're in a gondolier boat.
Oh Jesus, I missed that.
Yeah, so that was where my confusion was. So,
okay. Yeah.
I'm okay. Like I said, I'm okay with it.
We'll have to end the score then.
Well, we're right there. Why don't we just drop him off really quickly and then go, and then I'll go down with the gondolier.
Okay. So you drop him back off at Night Market, and then you begin to make your way to Silkshore, while Nyx is going where? He's going back to the Eden, right?
No, Nyx is going to Crow's Foot, to the warehouse.
To the warehouse. Okay. And what's the reason for you going to Crow's Foot specifically? To facilitate the... Yes. Okay. All right. So, in order to continue the score, we're going to shift all focus over to Bowerstone. Bowerstone, how are you doing this?
So, he's going to directly go to the headquarters and look aggravated, just pushing open the doors. What was the guy's name again? The Pickett or something.
Which one?
Timoth. Timoth is the guy we know.
Going up to the guards. Where is Timoth?
Wait, so where are you doing this specifically again? The Vale?
No, going to the headquarters.
We don't know where their headquarters is.
You don't know where their headquarters is. Okay.
Do we know the position of hideouts? Well, not hideouts, but meeting points they have. Or even to one of their guards. Find one of their people.
You must have said if you need to get in contact with me, do this.
Well, they did, and it was a dead drop, essentially. That was how you guys would coordinate, was through a dead drop. Or you can find somebody with a hive symbol on. They basically wear these essentially lapel pins that represent the hive.
That's what I'll do then. I'll look for one of them people with the lapel.
Okay, so you begin to explore Night Market a little bit, looking for anyone, different vendors, and as Nyx has done in the past. The majority of them you can find, they wear a pin of some kind on their lapel, but there are certain vendors that provide different goods that have like a theme of like a honeycomb, or there is a bee inside of there. Something that represents the hive in the artistic symbol of the vendor. So you find a number of vendors in essentially the central area where there's like an open market or a bazaar type thing. How do you want to do that? How do you want to approach them for that?
So if it's just some, random guy, he's not going to lose his shit at the vendor, but he's just going to be like, I need to speak with Timoth. Can you organize that for me?
They look at you and, who?
Let's not kid around now. We've had a bad night. We need to see him. I'm Reymond Bowerstone.
And that means absolutely nothing to this particular person. I don't know who you are. I don't know any Timoth.
What do you want? Do you want money? Is money going to make this issue, easier for you?
So what are you doing here? Are you trying to convince him, or are you trying to coerce this person? You're trying to convince this person. I'm not asking you to roll yet. I'm just trying to get the intent of what you're trying to do, because I'm reading like two different.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a man of mystery, sir.
You're a man of mystery. Again, just no clue about what you're talking about. They're just completely oblivious. Like they are, whether it's acted or not, it's not. You're not completely sure, but they are feigning ignorance, if nothing else.
Listen here, Honeycomb. I know what the symbol means. We have dealings with the Hive, and we have business to discuss. Now, I don't have any way of contacting him straight off the fly, so that's why I'm coming to you.
Looks at you, kind of gets serious for a second, waves you like this, not on the street, and walks you back into essentially a tent that's attached to this particular stall in the bazaar, where there's a flap that comes down, and they invite you into the back stall, and you see that there's like a bunch of like cartons and various little sundries just attached to the vendor and their business. All right, so again, setting the scene. You are escorted into the back once you point out the Hive symbol that is attached to their essentially their art for their stall. They wave you into the back. They say, not on the street. They wave you into the back. You go back into this tent that's attached to the front side of their bazaar. Inside this little tent that's attached to their stall, there are various sundries and some carts, or no, it's not carts, but containers filled with the various goods, whatever it is that the vendor is. And I'm not going to get specific because we'll have to come back to it at some point if we do. But so as you're kind of looking around and you turn, you see that the person is like moving a flap into place to kind of block the view from the street, and their back is turned towards you as they're doing this. But when they turn around, there is a pistol pointed directly at you. And it's not normal to mention the Hive on the street. Who are you?
Well, it's not normal what's gone down completely. I'm going to have to agree with you there. Reymond Bowerstone. We have had issues, and I need to speak with Timothy.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Because I don't know who you are. I don't know what's going on. And no, I don't know any Timothy.
I'm going to take out one of the vials of Leviathan.
Okay.
I'm just going to slam on his table. See this? Your boss wants this.
She's not my boss. I don't know any Timothy.
Oh, really? Let's say I give this to you. Do you want this?
No. Are you kidding? In its unrefined form, Leviathan blood is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't manufacture drugs. I sell goods here. Do you see the goods that are surrounding you? I'm an honest person. My attachment to the Hive is only to make sure that these things are protected. So who do you think you are coming to demand that you talk to my boss? I am my boss.
I thought you just said it wasn't your boss. Do you know him or not?
I just told you. I said I don't know any Timothy, and he points the gun even more directly at your head.
How about you get the gun out of my face, mate? Because we're having a nice...
He pulls the lever back.
So is it about
now you're either going to be incredibly nice and apologize and then tell me what the hell you're going on about and be completely candid with me, or I'm going to shoot you.
Sorry, mate. It has been a stressful day. I hope I haven't been too hostile towards you.
Go on.
I really need to find this person. Otherwise, trouble will start. And I'm not meaning between us. No, I'm talking more on a larger scale.
Trouble between who?
Many. Not just the Hive and my faction, but other factions as well. And I can't discuss that with someone who has a gun pointed to my head. So how about you lower it, and we have a nice cup of tea?
I don't know what you're talking about, boss. I don't know what you're talking about. The Hive, as I understand it, it's a business organization. I pay my dues. They help take care of my stall when it's not, when I'm not occupying it. Would you like me to put you in contact with the individual who I talk to? He's right across the way.
Is he now? See, that would have been lovely information to know from the start.
Backs up a little bit, opens the flap, continuing to point the gun at you. Get out of my stall. His name is Gerald.
Take the vial and stick it back in. Thank you very much.
And as you're walking towards the stall that he points you in the direction to, he yells, "Hey, Gerald, you have a crazy individual coming to talk to you. Something about Bowerstone." Oh, yeah. Or you hear some mumble from the back of that stall as you see a young apprentice who appears to be toting wares or selling wares of essentially like what a blacksmith would for that particular time, gears and other little sundries or little items that you would use in industrial society kind of a thing. And as you approach, you see the apprentice kind of get a little scared and look at you, and from the back walks this incredibly large, girthy man who, he's like a big guy, and he's got serious muscles, but he's also just incredibly big, and he's got on an apron, very much like a blacksmith, except that the items that he's holding appear to be intricately made pieces that he's hammering into shape, gears and different kinds of things. And as he's walking up, you notice a tattoo of a honeycomb on his left arm. What can I do for you?
You're Gerald?
Yes.
Reymond, how are you?
He looks down at your hand as he's got an item that he's working on in one hand, and he's got some sort of, file tool in his other. What's this about? Why are you bothering my patrons?
Do you mind if we talk in private, not on the street, is what I've been told?
He waves you. He takes the file and waves you and points at the back, and he looks towards the boy and says, "I'll be back in about 5 minutes." And he follows you into the back, closes the flap, begins to start filing. Now, what's all this about?
So Reymond's just going to be basically twinkling his fingers across his items and admiring it. You do fine work here. Tell me, do you know Timoth?
At that name, he stops filing, puts it down, flexes his muscles a little bit, cracks, his knuckles, and says, "What's this about?"
I need to have a quick word with them. We have a shipment for him, and we can't deliver it.
Is this that trouble in the rail yard?
What have you heard about it?
Don't play games with me.
I can only
takes a step forward.
I can only discuss things with that who are needed to know. I can't have information going around everywhere.
He moves to grab you by the neck. What are you going to do?
I'll lead him.
He grabs you, picks you up easily, and says, "Now, I'm not going to ask again. What's going on?"
Okay. Why don't you just... Okay.
He throws you back into a chair, and you basically almost kind of teeter over. Right, exactly. You kind of land back into it, and he's now standing over you, basically just kind of looking down at you.
We weren't able to deliver the shipment because of the Northhooks, okay? They seem to be looking for our boat. Do you know anything about that?
You actually catch him off guard for a second. And he he kind of looks around and says, "We knew there was problems. We didn't know the hook was involved." Damn
Is
it.
that why they weren't there to pick it up?
We tried to get word. I didn't realize that you were the person for the shipment. We sent messages, but we got no response. We basically missed you, is my understanding. Timothy is not happy about the situation, and he's not sure who tipped it off. But it's a big problem.
Does he think we tipped them off by any chance?
That's for him to have a conversation with you.
Well, that-
Where is the shipment?
We've docked it. Close by. Are you the one that was meant to come and pick up the shipment?
He shakes his head and says, no. You know, you get that slow, just, I keep an eye on the market. I help coordinate goods here. Timothy is responsible for all. So, where is the shipment now? Is it safe? Is it secure?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Are you able to get me a meeting with him? As you can see, this is
No.
prestige.
But I can give you a location to take the shipment if we can trust you.
Our end of the bargain was we deliver it. If we deliver it to this place, then it's on you, whatever happens to it.
I'll be back. And he steps back through and steps out. And you hear the boy run off in the distance. And he pokes his head back in and he says, 5 minutes. And so we're going to cut to OC as she's arriving back in Silk Shore. What are you doing as you're moving into Silk Shore, OC?
Going to the establishment, my main establishment there.
Okay. So in the establishment, business is going as usual. It's a typical good night. And you notice off in a corner in the main parlor at the end of the bar is quite a fetching young individual. And you know that this is a young woman. And this is typically the position with which Nye would choose as a way for you to know it's her and indicate she's got the particular drink that she would typically order. She's got the particular disposition, the way that she's taking in the room. It's her physical characteristic, her mannerisms that she once communicated with you when she changes bodies, that this would be how you would know if you had run into some trouble, essentially.
Okay. She's going to walk up, grab the drink, and grab her, not roughly, but grab her by the hand and escort her to the back without saying anything.
Okay, so this is not uncommon for you in your establishment, so nobody bats an eye as this happens. They just assume that OC is checking out a new potential girl for work. And so as you escort her into the back, she kind of wiggles a little bit. She's very uncomfortable with how strong you're holding on to her, but you get back there and you get into the room and she kind of settles herself in this new body, essentially, and this new dress as the door closes behind.
Why are you back after I sent you away? It's still not safe.
Trouble. She says trouble. That's all she says.
Go on.
She looks you over for a second and hands you a piece of paper. On that piece of paper is a weird pictograph set of symbols that make no sense to you at first. But as you kind of look at it, you realize it's some sort of weird counting system kind of a thing. And I'm going to share it with you in just 1 second. Hold on, just 1 second. So if you're looking at the game table, you see essentially this.
She's going to ask again what it is.
Trouble is all she says. And she shakes her head. And finally, after she says,
Enjoy your stay.
there are very few people who know who I am really. You are one of 3. This was given to me by another one. That person has been dead for 500 years. This means trouble.
Would you not have been safer if you had left?
This is trouble for you. This is trouble for everyone you are connected to.
I need more.
This was all that was given to me.
How do you know this is trouble?
I was told. And she is giving you all of the signs that she is being as sincere as she possibly can be, but you do realize that she's holding something back.
I can tell when people are lying to me, so yeah.
She's a ghost. This is a very different situation.
Well, she's in a human's body. It's not.
This is a ghost. This is
Okay.
a very different situation. So, but she can make the mannerisms of, and have those experiences, and it looks a lot like, but she's in a new body. So it takes time to drive that in a way that, she feels comfortable. So this is obviously a new body because you're getting the sense that she has just recently possessed this particular person.
She's going to sit her down, like in chairs in there, like gently. I've been without you and having to deal with it for weeks. And it hasn't been pretty. Please tell me what's going on. What else you know? There's something going on tonight that I have to get back to, but if this is more important, I will stay here.
She looks at you and she says, I don't know how important it is, but I do know that it means more than anything else we're dealing with. Anything you and I have ever talked about, any of your business aspirations, or your friend Nick's.
And you have nothing else to give me to help me understand.
I was given this. I was given no other information than it
Who
was
gave
trouble.
you this?
She looks really hesitant to talk to you about that. She gets incredibly uncomfortable at that point.
Of all people to keep things from.
You have your
me.
secrets and I have mine.
You know all of my secrets.
She looks at you as if that she doesn't believe you. So with that impression, with that she seems to not trust you about something. Like there's something that she's trying to convey in the sense of distrust there. Like, how do I want to put this? She doesn't feel comfortable sharing with this information with you, and it's obvious. That you can completely read off of her immediately.
If you have no intention of telling me what to look out for, how am I to know what to do with this information?
I was told to bring it to you.
If you do something for me tonight, we will look into this tomorrow. First thing, there's something I need to do. It's not for my business. It's not for my friends. It's something that I need to do. And it also will, it could help the situation that whatever it is that we're going to be dealing with. But right at this moment, there's nothing I can do. Leaving obviously isn't an option since they found you.
She found me. And she regrets telling you that, as you can see it just play across her face. It's like it was an emotional, almost like, not an angry response, but like a lover's upset with something that you're implying, that you're conveying, you're conveying so much anger, and you're treating her, you're placating her almost, and she's trying to help you. You can see that she's sincere enough that she's trying to help you in some way.
She's gonna look down and just say, "Is it her?"
It's not who you think. Now, what is this you ask of me?
In good time, help me get into my dress.
And she will do that. And we're going to cut to Nyx. Nyx, what are you doing?
He's just going for a stroll. Sort of
right.
carefree. Yeah, no, he's just headed back to where he assumed he was meeting Bowerstone at the warehouse. Super casually, like, yeah, he just looks like a homeless person, just sort of walking away.
Okay, so when you get back to the warehouse, it is pretty much empty, and Bowerstone is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, so Nyx will kind of like dust himself off and be like, well, he is never one to be on time. Tardy if ever. Well, let's see. Is this... And he'll just try to open the place up.
After a couple of minutes, it's locked, but you being you and the circumstances, you can just you can get in there pretty quickly.
Sure.
And so when you walk inside, the warehouse is basically empty. I mean, there's some residual Leviathan blood, it's kind of stained on the floor, but otherwise the majority of the warehouse is empty. There's no containers. There's nobody inside. This is as you would expect it to be after the score, in order to be set up for you to do your thing. Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna look around and double check things, and when he sees what he's looking for, he just sort of waits a few minutes for Bowerstone to show up, and then when he doesn't show up, he leaves and heads towards not the lampblacks. He heads towards the red sashes.
Okay.
Because we know where their headquarters is, I believe.
Yes, you totally do. All right, so this sounds like it's going to be something that falls into the downtime / free play action. So I'm just going to cut back to Bowerstone.
Yeah.
And so Bowerstone, when the girthy individual comes back, he says, "All right, here's the location," and he hands you a scrap of paper, and he says, 2 hours.
Is it a location that I know, or is it just a random address?
It is a location in, here, let me look at the map so I can be very clear about this. Sorry, I'm on the wrong screen. It is a location in Coleridge, just sort of off, basically off to the other side from Night Market. Basically, I'll ping it on the map here. And he says it's a dock with a warehouse where it can be offloaded and be stored temporarily until they can figure out what the hell they're going to do with it. And that's the information that he basically conveys to you. So with this information, you're basically able to continue the score at this point.
So you want us to deliver this shipment outside of both of their territories?
Your territories. We're the Hive.
As I said, we deliver it, we fulfill our end of the bargain.
Agreed. And he visibly relaxes.
Well, that didn't go so well. You have quite a grip.
Get out.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and so how do you want to proceed with this? You have a location in Coleridge where you can deliver it. You believe that it's a warehouse of some kind that will allow you to, essentially just drop this off and be done. But you know that the shipment is now back at Eden in the boathouse that is under in the canals. So, what's your plan of action at this point? Because you all are really separated at this point.
2 hours is not a lot of time.
I'm heading back as soon as I'm dressed, and I've spoken to the courtesans and everyone and arranged certain things.
Okay.
We will, Nye and I will head to Eden.
Okay. Fair
Like
enough.
underneath, not out where people are, whatever. Getting
Okay.
ready.
Right
I
on.
need to heal some of the rocks to assist me with this. To take this shipment to that warehouse.
I think he's talking to you, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say?
I think I want to take some of the rocks
Oh, yeah.
with me. The shipment.
And the fog hounds are still there.
Sorry,
The fog count, the
Move it
asset
about
is still
to
there
just
because
wait. Yeah.
yeah,
You're actually
they're
super
still they're a
quiet.
part of the score.
Okay. Yeah, they're the crew's assets, technically.
Yeah, for this score, right? If
No,
you
I
want
meant
to,
the
you
rooks.
want.
The rooks are the crew's assets, technically. They're a crew function, so you can totally take them.
Well, yeah, they're cohorts, not just assets. They're
Yeah, yeah,
cohorts.
yeah.
They're always there. Yeah, absolutely.
We will go and deliver it. Even though it's against the speed of will.
Against his what?
Against the speed of judgment.
Okay. So we're just going to basically cut to you getting back there and getting the boat underway again towards the new location of the shipment. Is there anything that you want to do in respect to taking additional precautions, or are you just going to try to get the boat there as fast as possible? And I'm not asking for any particular reason at all. It's not like I'm hinting.
I'm going to investigate this warehouse.
Okay.
As Bauer Bomb.
Okay.
And I'm checking basically that it's safe. That it is the hive waiting there and it's not another ambush. Or a ambush to come in to grab us.
Okay, so it took you an hour to get everything back underway, to get the boat basically back underway towards Char Hollow. So as you're moving towards you're moving back towards that location, and you have the boat. I'm going to ask you a couple of leading questions here. Do you establish any type of signal that you give if there's trouble to wave the boat off? How are you going to communicate with the boat otherwise?
So the boat is going to be communicated via vocal sounds. So like a bird call for danger, a whistle to stop. You are muted, mate. You all right?
Oh, yeah, we're going
Got it. And
Keep going.
Yeah, and so basically it's just going to be going straight through, but for danger it's going to be a bird call. To stop is going to be a whistle.
Okay.
Other than that, it's pretty much going to be fine. This is going to be the last straw with this delivery.
Right. Okay, so as you're making your way towards the location, you notice that there's an increased amount of activity in the area between Night Market and Char Hollow on the water. Not necessarily just gondolas, but also a couple of more boats than you would typically see. A lot of work crews kind of, rowing in different directions. But the circumstances of the fog that Violet was able to establish are still there. Like there's still a significant foggy presence all over the water. So
before Bauer Bomb does anything that Bowerstone can't recover from, Hello Sweetie donates $10 and says, Gondor's aid for the blood score. Video Store Cowboy can decide how to help, but Raymond's pretty face just isn't enough. So she wants to use She wants to use Gondor's Aid, which is introduce an element that changes the outcome of a source. She wants to change it for the positive, and you get to choose.
For the positive.
You get to choose what that positive change is.
Okay, so
Thank you, sweetie.
I'm going to give Bowerstone the ability to make some decisions here as the Bower Bomb. But I'm going to continue to set this up such, and then the circumstances will probably change in your direction positively, or they may change in your direction positively anyways, because she bought you she bought you Gondor's Aid. But anyways,
yeah.
thank you, sweetie, for doing that. Okay, so there's a ton of boats on the water actually. There's a larger number of boats. The circumstances of the fog is still there. You realize that the cover should be enough to allow the boat to get towards Char Hollow, but you're not 100% confident. So I suggest Bowerstone figure out something, or the bomb figure out something that to help as a distraction, and that's going to be the first. Yeah,
as a distraction.
Yes.
Interesting. All right, so as a distraction then. So whereabouts are we coming down? Just ping it on the map. Whereabouts we're coming down?
You got it. All right. So you're coming from here, right? That is the circumstances of where the boathouse is and the canals. Mm-hmm. So you are going to follow the path that goes along here. Actually, let me just draw it with a freaking polyline or whatever. It's going to go here to here to here to there, right? So that's the general path it's going to go to. When you get to about the point here, that's when you start to, where you suspect the boat is, where the boat is, that's the path that it's going to take. When the boat gets to about that's when they're going to be their most exposed, because that's where the most of the traffic is, and the fog is slowly beginning to move in that general direction anyways as it begins to dissipate. But there's, again, still enough of it around that it's possible that they could be there, but it's not necessarily a guarantee. You know that in Coleridge right now, it's the quote unquote third work shift of the 24-hour period, and so there's a lot of activity going on, and the smokestacks of the various industrial factories there are just continuing to do their thing. I mean, because they operate 24/7, because darkness has no bearing on the ability to do work in this world. It does not impede at all. So you also note that, while the majority of the traffic on there are the gondolas, there are a couple of other boats that look more like longboats from, various, they're under manpower, that kind of a thing. They're not just somebody just kind of drifting with the current.
All right, for a distraction then, I'm going to get the rooks to commit a little bit of arson.
Where?
We have wagons, correct?
That's correct.
So I'm going to use one of those wagons. We're going to set it up somewhere.
Can you draw the path in a different color so that they can see it, please?
Is it not? It might be on the GM layer. Hold on.
I think it is on the GM layer.
Sorry to interrupt.
It is. You're just the worst.
I am. I'm terrible.
It's fine. Proceed.
Don't lie to me. Anyways, go on, Slade. What were you going to say?
The path is... It was a path.
Slade, what were you going to say?
So with those carriages, I'm going to basically have them blow up.
Okay.
Go past on the other side and make it away from us. So drawing the majority of the crowd either in a direction that's away from the boat and some towards it, while we go in a total opposite direction. So you see we're heading down here, correct?
That's correct.
Yep. So since we're basically planning, where is the dock on this place? Is that like the docks there?
So that's the docks on the other side. The location that they gave to you has a dock according to them, but it's not indicated on the map.
Okay. Well, so somewhere around here, if I remember correctly, is where you pinged it at.
I can see it.
Right there.
There it
Okay.
is. So that's where it is. So I'm gonna make an explosion. A wagon there, next to the bridge.
Where?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the bridge between the lower bridge between Night Market and Six Towers.
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, and so what effect are you trying to go for in that? Are you just trying to get it as a distraction, or are you trying to basically attract everyone?
No, let's go for an attraction.
Okay.
To attract people to that and away from us.
Okay, fair enough. Because Sweetie bought you the Gondor's aid, I'm going to narrate the circumstances of this rather than make it any type of roll or anything.
Yeah, let's go.
Because it's actually going to coincide with another event that's going on in the world. So as you are getting this all prepared, and you know that the boat is about to make its way past the bridge and come down to the south, you hear that there's quite a commotion going on inside of Night Market. Apparently, people are screaming and yelling in this area right here, I believe, if I remember where they put it correctly, that there is a fire starting to blaze out of control inside of a business in Night Market. Out of a storefront in Night Market, and you hear the bells ring as the fire brigade begins to come off, and you realize that this is the perfect opportunity to, when you set that second, that explosion off, that fire, that second distraction, essentially now, it's going to divide and panic people even more that are in the know. So when that actually happens, so the fire brigade's just kind of going off, and you motion to the rooks to execute, the bridge starts to go ablaze, like almost immediately. Whatever they did, they spread kerosene oil or something that was incredibly flammable very quickly, and then they spread a bunch of straw at the same time. And while you hear the fire alarms going off, the bridge slowly begins to kind of light up on top, and the entire way between Six Towers and Night Market just kind of goes up in a blaze, and you hear sheer panic as you see a number of boats that are heading towards that direction, both gondolas and the boats that are on the water. And there are screams to get onto shore, to help the fire brigade, get sources of water. You all kinds of panic. And all of those boats just kind of move up that direction as the boat with your Leviathan parts kind of slides right on by. All right. So that's the circumstance of you getting by all of those. When you get to the warehouse, what you find is there are a number of individuals kind of flanking it around, but they are clearly not the same people that you found at the rail yard. They are local mercs, but they are not Scovelin in origin. They look more like your average person from, I can't remember the name of the continent or the island right now,
Akros.
but they're very common. There you go. They're very common to Doskval. So they're not big. They're not carrying these big ass swords. They're more of your typical sort of muscle kind of a circumstance. And so when you get a closer look as the Bower bomb, as you're kind of coming in, they don't notice you, but you do see that a couple of them have on lapel pins that represent the hive. So
Thank goodness. Right.
boat arrives. There is an exchange that goes on as some of the soldier mercs basically go down to help the foghounds that is your asset, kind of bring everything on up the gangway up to into this essentially small warehouse that they have in Char Hollow that's attached to a big industrial factory that's billowing dark smoke, even darker than the sky, into into the distance, and it's a smell, and it's a city sort of disgusting smell. But they all of this gets carted in, and the boat is able to disengage and kind of moves back. And you guys have successfully completed the score. All right, so we're going to go into downtime very quickly. You guys want to end on something pretty significant, so we're going to go into downtime and figure all of this out. Who wants to go first? Oh, actually, we got to do the score stuff. Yeah. I'm sorry. We got to do the payoff and stuff. I apologize. So let's start it off.
So we forewent any coin for this.
You forewent any coin, but you did go for turf, and we rolled fortune. And so now you guys have 2 pieces of turf, which I'm going to want you to tell me where you want those to be.
Cool.
So you don't have to determine them right now, but you can tell me at some point where that is.
But that does put us at full rep, which means we go from tier 1 weak to tier 1 strong.
Right, correct. Cool. Actually, you have to earn an additional rep to advance.
Do you? Or do you fill the bar?
Wait a minute. Let me look at your character or your crew sheet real quick.
We had all but 2, and 2 turf gives you 1 each.
Why did it not update turf? Did you click on the turf?
Yeah. Yeah, it was here before.
Right.
And now it's here.
No, so what it looks like here, let me take it off for a second.
Oh, I clicked the wrong thing.
Yes. So you have to you click the black at the top, and what that does is it closes it off.
Gotcha. Cool. Didn't know that. So yeah, we are maxed out on rep, which means we level up. Or we
yes, so you'll level up.
Yeah, so we forewent all of the reward for that. So let's do heat.
So this was a pretty high-profile score from my perspective. You guys did tackle essentially the Northwood Company, which is an untiered faction. So if I was to pick the most appropriate, it's probably going to be 4.
4 heat.
There are tier 4 factions. So.
Yep.
Specifically, there's only going to be 1 heat because of their high profile target. Happened on hostile turf? No, it was neutral territory. You guys did this in a way that prevented visibility. However, this was a pretty significant amount of cargo, so I think that at least to some degree there's a little bit more exposure than none.
Yep.
So I think you're going to get 2 heats specifically for standard exposure.
Yep.
Nobody died though, which is surprising. Right. I was expecting a lot more murder. So I was expecting a lot of murder. So I think that's only 3 heat in my book.
So plus 3 heat. Now, what about for rep?
We dealt with factions above us.
You dealt with a faction above you, so
we dealt with several factions above us.
Yeah.
The Hive.
Yes.
The Hive and
Northhook.
Hold on, though. But you were directly in conflict with Northhook.
Right.
So that's at least 4.
4 rep? Okay.
4 rep there.
Yep.
No, I'm sorry. 3 rep, because you guys are tier 1.
Right.
Right. So it's a 1 plus the tier higher.
Yep. We succeeded.
You succeeded, and you also dealt with a tier 4 hive, so that's another 3.
Okay.
So that's 6 rep.
Yep. Okay, cool.
All right, so what's your wanted level?
0.
What's your heat at?
7.
Okay, so you guys okay. All right. So let's roll heat. Or let's roll entanglements. I'm sorry. Let's do that. 1d6. All right. So, flipped or interrogation. One of your contracts, patrons, clients, or group of customers switches allegiance to the heat on you. They are now loyal to another faction. Or Bluecoats round up one of the PCs to question them about the crew's crimes. How did they manage to capture you?
Damn it.
People pay them off with 3 coin, or they beat you up.
We'll pay them off with 3 coin.
Okay. All right. So, why did they round you up, though?
I mean, I feel like the reasons are numerous as to why anyone would round any of us up.
Absolutely,
I think Nyx would get rounded up for the only reason I say that is because you were in weird territory and they were obviously doing something there, and you are now stumbling around like just being a nuisance and got carried off. So maybe they're just questioning you about why you were there. Like, you causing trouble for these people on the docks? They're trying to,
Here you go, Johnny. So I look like a
trouble
homeless.
for the North Hook. Yeah,
I look like a homeless person. So you could either go with that one, or I look like a homeless person rummaging around the warehouse in the Crow's territory.
Okay.
And they stop me, and that's they either stop me or one of them was there that night and they recognize me, and I am confused and look like I was beaten up because I was beaten up.
So if you're a homeless person, then how do you justify having 3 coin to be able to pay them off?
Because I look like a homeless person. But if it's one of the people that saw us the night of the score, they would know that I'm not a homeless person. That I work for Mr. Shit, whatever the hell name I gave Slade that day.
Whateverman.
Yeah, Mr. Whateverman, Mr. Tillerman.
Mr. Tillerman, that's right.
Mr. Tillman, yeah. So he knows that I work for Mr. Tillman, and I'll play it off like, but sir, I was attacked. I was absconded by some men. They look like Scovlins. I'm not sure what happened. And they accost me for that information.
Okay, so you were picked up in Crowsfoot because you were trailed by the Bluecoats from Night Market, or even the rail yard, essentially.
Yep.
To find out what was going on and why you were. And so, okay, all right, that makes sense.
Because I had papers on me for Mr. Tillman that day as well, in case for the Scovlins, but I didn't have to use them.
All right, sounds good. So you spend 3 coin on that.
Sure.
All right, so now we're in a downtime activity.
Yeah.
And given the fact that there's a bunch of things that need to go on still, why don't you guys let's quickly go through downtime, and I'm just going to give you guys a quick reminder. If you're going to do a long-term project thing, if it doesn't complete this week, save it for season 2.
I'm going to go first.
Please do.
Obviously, with the person that we just took.
Oh, absolutely. You only had 2
that
stress.
That was risky. Holy shit.
That was incredibly risky. That worked out so well. All right, so your first time downtime action is.
Baller.
Wow. So your first downtime action is you, with Nye in your life, you risk the circumstances to, well, not just exposure. Overindulgence can mean a number of things, right? But you risk all of that because of your tight connection with Nye, and so. Every time I say Nye now, I just think of Sweetie, but let's just not talk about that.
Well, there's this one. Never mind, we're not going to go into that now.
Oh, okay. LiveJasmine.com /
Hello Ginger.
Anyways, but you navigated that quite well. Good job on the roll, the terrible roll, because that's a terrible roll, but good job. All right, so that's your first.
The other thing I want to do is. I can't say it on stream because it's going to ruin something, but I put it in the chat for you, Johnny, earlier.
Which highlight it for me or send it to me again.
Hold on. That was an incomplete thought.
That's okay. Right. Okay. All right. So that's your second. Then basically that's like an asset, right? Because of those circumstances, we'll call it a secret asset. And I'm going to have you just roll to make sure how clever that disguise actually is, or that circumstance is. All right. So go ahead and do, of course, after that loveliness. Why don't you go ahead and roll your crew tier, which is 1 die.
Okay, so one.
So roll 1 die.
1d what?
Well, this is to determine the quality of that essentially that item that you're talking about, because even though it belongs to somebody else, it needs to be adapted to.
That's fine, but what am I clicking? I don't remember.
Roll 1d6.
Just roll 1d6.
That was what I was asking. 1d what? Okay.
1d6. All right. Okay. So it does. You.
Can I use my crit?
Sure.
We have them. Why not? It's the end of the season.
You're absolutely right. Okay, so use your crit, and it is of better quality than you would expect, and it looks perfect. Like it looks perfect. All right, and so that with that, we're calling that the end of your downtime, unless you want to pay a coin or a rep for another. Okay, excellent. Who's next?
Bower Bottom. Bomb. Bowerstone.
Yeah, so
No, it's all about the bottom. Let's be honest.
tis tonight. So we'll complete that secret project.
Which one is that?
If you want to bring them up.
Hold on just a second. Yes, I will do that. We are going over to the progress clocks.
I think it was
right
Gala
now.
Prep was the name, something like that.
Bower Project?
Yeah,
No, the
I think
Bower
it's-
Project was the circumstance around the
Hold on.
circumstance around the warehouse. The reason why you guys got the warehouse in the first place.
So we can complete that.
Okay.
Has it come up on screen yet? Because it hasn't.
No.
Nope.
Oh,
You
sorry.
don't
Hold
see
on. Yeah, we're pro streamers, guys. I tell you, tonight it's really fun.
Okay. So
Yeah, so I can just finish off that project.
Okay, so are you ready to talk about that on stream yet, or are you ready? Are you going to set that up for a little bit later?
You know, do we finish the gala?
The
That's a
invitations,
question.
We haven't done the invitations at all.
I did.
Okay.
I mentioned it last game that I was
You did.
going to invite all the nobles and whatever because we were blackmailing them. That like all of the noble houses have to come. Or I'm going to tell all your wives the weird stuff you've been doing.
Right.
So all the noble people at least are definitely coming and have dates.
Okay. I might do the
So-
same, except not so much blackmail.
Okay, so hold on a second, guys. I'm confused. So let me just understand. You're finishing the Bower project as your first downtime action. Is that correct?
I will not be completing that. No.
Okay.
Am I the one completing that, or someone else will?
So finish
I'll
your
complete it then. I'll complete
finish
it.
yours. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to complete that for you again, and so I'm going to let you explain that when it begins to arise. You know, when that situation comes up. So that's going to be your first downtime action. What's your second downtime action? Your free one, because you can always buy more with Rapper Coin.
I think I want to relieve stress. 'Cause
Okay, so you're going to overindulge, and I believe your vice is pleasure. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and indulge your vice, and see. Let's see what happens.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No. It's on your character sheet.
Oh,
So
there
I'm
we
just going to
go.
have it because
Yeah.
there can be additional dice that get included just by using it's called indulge,
There you go.
right on your character sheet. Right. So you have two dice that allow you to, and you basically relieve 5 stress
Mhm.
out of 6. So you did not overindulge. Very good. So you're now down to 1 stress.
Mhm.
Given this, I believe this is the first time, and I don't want you to do it, exaggerated detail, but just give me a little bit of an insight. What is it that specifically pleasure-wise that you take from this circumstance?
So the pleasure that he's going to be getting from this is a job well done. So
Okay.
while getting prepared for the gala and whatnot, he's tasting different wines, different foods. He's indulging in these fine qualities that he hasn't been able to taste in a wee while, and probably something a little too much from here and there. But he's going back to his past, where he used to love to do this, and now it's almost like he's home again, able to indulge in these things.
Right. Okay. All right. Cool. First time we've ever actually seen that. That's very, very interesting. Now, with that, is that the last thing that you want to do with your downtime actions, or do you want to take an additional one for coin or rep and do something else?
No, that'll be it.
Okay. All right. So with you done, let's move on to Nyx. Nyx, you have 2 free plus your spider ability that gives you an additional one that you can hand to anybody. So you have potentially 3 on the table right now.
Okay.
What do you want to do with your first downtime action?
So I'm already in the Crows' territory because I was by the warehouse. So
Right.
I'm going to continue with that. They recognize me as... I didn't give them a name. So they recognize me as Mr. Tillman's assistant. So I'm going to try to find them. Try to locate them, looking bedraggled and as if I was just beaten up. And they probably... I mean, if they have people all around, they probably saw me talking with the blue coats. so they know something is amiss.
Okay.
So yeah, he's gonna try to look for them.
Okay, so as a downtime action, are you calling this a long-term project?
No, so the downtime action is to get them to. Well, the downtime action is to talk to them. So he wants to have a meeting with people from the.
Right, but so there has, and we played pretty loose with the rules, but it still has to fit into a downtime action, like where what's
I
the
guess
fight?
it would be acquire an asset. I guess you could call it that if you want.
Because you okay, well that's fine.
I'm essentially trying to get them to the meeting table.
Okay, well I
so
think that
acquire
could
an
also. Well, so you still have two parties that you want to get to the table. I think that makes sense. If it's essentially a 4-segment long-term clock.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's the kind of thing that you can do, and your role may be more successful that and complete it in potentially essentially one downtime action or more. So.
Sure. Yeah, that works.
All right, so let's go ahead and get that started, and I'll bring that up while you're. So, when you approach the crows, how do you want to do this? Like, seriously.
So he is bedraggled, and he looks ridiculous, and he looks like he was beaten, and the blue coats just left him and gave him a shakedown. So he looks very, sort of deranged, and like he just had his ass kicked. But he finds one of them, and if he's granted an audience, I guess he is known, and he has run into Lysa. He has run into Lysa before. So his face is known.
I think we said Lissa, her name before, so it's Lissa. Anyways,
so he ran into Lissa, so his face is known. So he asks for her directly, because I believe she said, if you're ever running business through my city again, come to me.
Okay. So, bit of finagling back and forth. Roll me something related to this downtime action. What is it? Are you trying to sway? Are you trying to coerce?
So
he would be trying
to sway.
Okay.
He would be trying to sway, and what he would do is, if he gets a meeting with her, which is what his goal is that he is going to play up this weak, timid, manservant of Mr. Tillman, but he's going to bring out of his somewhere hidden compartment, you'll figure out where, a tube of the Leviathan blood that was collected off the bottom of one of the carriages. And he'll essentially say, I know the last time we saw each other, I said I was working for Donovan's, but things didn't go so well. I think they set us up to be their patsy. I think they might have killed Mr. Tillman. I barely got away. The Bluecoats chased me down. I gave them my last coin, but I came to you with this. I think I can get you the rest of the Leviathan blood. If you meet me at a warehouse, I think I can arrange for it to be there. But I have this as proof that I'm not lying. I have this. I think I know where the Donovans put their carriages, and I think I can get them to be moved.
As you have this audience with her, right? You're able to get in to talk to her. She slaps you as you're incoherent and just really. And she says, "Why would you bring it to us? There are plenty of other people who would take this."
Yeah, but I said that when the last time I met you, I said that I was new to town and I didn't know anybody, and I knew the Donovans, and then I met you, and you're fairly scary, and the other guys, they were Scolders, and they were scary too, but they attacked us, so I didn't want to bring it to them, and you guys were the only other ones I knew.
She takes the bottle, she takes the vial from you, she kind of looks it up, she holds it up to a light source, and I want you to roll.
Sure. Ka-chow. All right. This is a long-term project, so no input value, none of that stuff.
No position, no effect. So
I think I'm going to take some stress. I'm going to take stress.
Okay.
Kapow. A 4.
Okay. So that is 2 segments on the clock. And she kind of looks at it and she says, okay. She calls over one of the people that works for her, and she whispers into his ear, and she says, "Wow, this is the real thing. Wow, I'm a little surprised you're bringing this to me, but I can't look at an opportunity, and I can't look at an opportunity like this and not take advantage of it. because we could sell it. We could make. And she starts to begin to kind of think about, and she starts to rattle off numbers and thinking and the business aspect of it in her head as she begins to calculate. And she says, "Okay, all right. So, when are we meeting you?"
So he gives her whatever the same date he gave the Lampblacks was, which I don't remember what it was. The date of the gala, same night.
The next day.
The date. So essentially the next day.
Yeah.
All right. So she looks at this. She's like, all right, pockets it, and she says, all right, we'll meet you there at the appropriate time. This better not be a trick.
I hate to ask this of you, but you can see the state of my clothes. Could I please borrow like a cloak or something? Could I have like a shirt, maybe pants? I was roughed up pretty bad.
She waves someone over, and she whispers, and that person disappears, and they come back with essentially a dock worker's long coat.
Okay.
And he throws it at her.
So yeah, he takes the dock worker's long coat, he puts it on and kind of bundles himself up. He's like, oh, thank you very much. You won't be disappointed. And then he sort of like scurries and like looks back over his shoulder every few feet out of the crow's territory, ever watchful of where these people are, as he slowly winds his way towards the red sashes.
Okay. And so how are you making your approach to the red sashes as your second action in this long-term project?
Yeah, so he is. So the red sashes are on the opposite side of Crowsfoot than the crows, correct? They're on the north side or the east side.
Well, so let's look at the map again. You've got the territories all laid out based on the way we had the conversation. God,
Sure.
Wrong screen. Going there and bringing you guys over. So yeah, the red sashes are all the way at the top of Crowsfoot. Their main headquarters is this sword. Can you guys see that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so that is a sword academy that the Eruvian Sword Academy, which they run. And then, so the rest of that is essentially their territory, that top part. And it's quite well taken care of, again, because they've had a lot of coin to really kind of manage and control that part. So.
Okay, yeah, so he eventually makes it through that way. Like, he scurries through the Lampblack territory. Hopefully those guys will see him and, like, they'll direct him down back alleys to try to lose a trail.
Well, right. Based on your relationship, they would, if they recognize you or have, any interaction with you, it's going to be on a positive way. They see you as a friend at this point. So.
Yeah. He loses his crow tail in the Lampblack territory and makes his way to the Red Sashes. And once he heads to the Eruvian Academy, I can scroll back to my notes, but I'm pretty sure we got a name, not the guy we captured, but we got a different name of one of the Red Sash guys when we met them.
You did. Hold on just a second. Let me take a look at my notes. I did write it down. That was back in like episode 3 or 4, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me pull that up.
I don't actually have a name.
I'm looking right now. Finding blah, 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 distraction. Team distraction. Yeah, you know what? It's not here in my fucking notes. I can't believe that. Yeah. Anyways, okay.
So he looks for that guy.
You did. There was a lieutenant that you guys had been talking to that OC and Chimes had a conversation with and negotiated.
Yeah.
The circumstances of that particular event where you were able to actually kidnap Valen.
Yeah, because we all met them for the whole let's have a party thing, I believe.
That's correct.
Yeah. So he looks for that guy by name. Trying to seek him out with a proposal, always covering himself with a dockworker's jacket.
Okay.
And then if and when he finds him, he'll ask for like a private audience with him. And then once he has one, he'll open the dockworker's jacket and show that he looks like he got his ass kicked. He'll say, now my good sir, my lieutenant, I have information that would be of tantamount importance to you. Your friends to the west, the Crows, I know that you have a deep, seething hatred for them, and you wish to control their territory amongst everyone else's. I recently had a run-in with them, and I would very much like for you to crush them into the dust, if you could, and to incite you into violence, as your master of swords can only do. I have found some information that would be useful to you. and he procures the second vial of Leviathan blood. And he says, "It appears as though there's a small warehouse deep in the Crow's territory near Tangletown on the docks. And there was a recent attack on the North Hook Company. 4 carriages full of Leviathan bits were stolen from them. I believe the Crows had something to do with it. I believe they are going to be meeting to divvy up this Leviathan blood in this warehouse. I stole this, hoping to get it for myself, but my friend was killed and I was badly beaten. So, I bring it to you as the most powerful people in Crowsfoot."
As you begin to outline this, he initially took you in with a little bit of amusement, humoring because you had passed some coin to the right people to get you into the room. And he initially is just like, he's just kind of giggling under his breath, in a just dismissive kind of a way. But as you begin to talk about the massacre that happened around the shipment, he begins to get more and more serious, and his hand just kind of slowly creeps to the sword. And as you bring out the Leviathan blood and you share all the final details, he shakes his head and says, "Crows. Where is this? When is this happening?"
"It is happening tomorrow night here," and he explains where he is. He says, "But I have it on good authority that I believe her name was Lissa. Yes, you know the name Lissa? Is that?"
Shakes his head.
Heard that quickly. Okay, yes, I believe she will be making a personal appearance, and as far as I understand it, she leads the Crows. Yes.
Grinds his teeth and says, "Yes."
Now I'm not privy to who leads you Aruvians in your mastery of sword play, but I assume it would be a most honorable kill should whoever is in charge of you and your friends take her out.
He's slowly, he was, essentially pulling his sword out reversed, like from the hilt as he's seated, and it's slowly slipping the blade, and it's just like an unconscious habit that he's got. And when you finish what you say, he slams his sword back into the sheath, and it makes this audible click as the hilt hits the top of the sheath itself, which is also bound in metal. And it's this really, really loud, annoying click. He's like, "How could I trust you? How do I know that you're not a part of this whole, circumstance and that you're a spy for the Crows?"
Well, and he begins to lift up his shirt, where you can see the bruises from the time he got his ass kicked by the Bluecoats after getting interrogated. He's got bruises all up and down his body, and he says, "I would spy be as badly wounded as this.
Spreads.
I escaped with my life."
And I'm going to have you roll something for that.
Sweet. I will roll a sway.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to take 2 stress, because why the fuck not? Fuck yes! Crit!
Okay. So as he looks at that, and he reaches out and he looks and he touches your bruises, and they're not as bad because they're just bruises at this point, and they're but he touches them, and as you react, those Crows. This Lissa will die. Where is this?
Oh, here. And he begins to, give him details as to where this place is.
And he says, we will have this place scoped out. We will make sure that it is well off any Bluecoats track tomorrow night. Nobody will interrupt this conversation.
Sweet.
And so with that, he immediately grabs somebody, whispers into their ear, and you hear them mention Bluecoat and coin, and that person disappears off. And he says, "It is taken care of. Just stay out of my way once the swords begin to become bloody."
Yes, I would warn you. There was a man. I don't know who he works for. Yeah, they don't know our name. Yeah, okay.
No, they do not know your name.
I don't know who he works for, but I've seen him. I think he thinks he's a hero. He wears a mask, a cape, and cowl. Rumor has it that he has been staking out this area as well. I would be careful.
The bomb, he
Oh.
says. And
Okay.
he just gets incredibly angry. What about the bomb?
I assume that's what he calls himself, but I heard that he was also staking out this area. I would be careful. I don't know what his capabilities are.
My blade will taste his blood if he shows.
I am most assured he would show, from what I hear.
Even better that the Bluecoats will not bother us tomorrow night.
Oh, well, that's fortuitous for you. I just hope the Lamplax don't catch wind of this. Don't worry, I won't tell anybody. I'm going as far away from Crowsfoot as possible. You people terrify me.
And so with that, he says, I thank you for your information. And he passes you money in the value of at least 1 coin. So you get a coin
Cool.
for your troubles.
So yeah, so the Crows are going, the Red Sash are going, and as of last session, the
Lamplocks are going. Okay, so I'm going to switch you back over to the progress clock. So you critted on that. Not only do you complete the project, but again, the circumstances are such that it is unlikely that anybody is going to cause a complication for you in the circumstance of the Bluecoats. So when that meeting goes off, we'll deal with the results of it as it comes down. All right, so that is your second downtime action. Do you want to take a third?
I have my third one. So I would first of all present to the group. Do we need anything done? Is there anything we need to happen?
I think we've got.
Jinja is.
I sure am muted. I caught it. Shush. Is anything else like the invitations are sent as of last game when I mentioned that, right?
That is correct. So I'm going to roll a fortune roll about the success of that. Bowerstone also mentioned that he was going to pass that, and he was going to convey that information as well. I'm also going to attach that to the same fortune roll, but we'll do that in free play. So the circumstances of downtime, you've got the one free one left, and then you can pay more. So use that wisely in respects to anything else you want to set up.
Do you have any stress? Unmade?
I do, but not enough to worry about.
How much do you have?
Do you have anything else? Because we don't really need to do anything.
So I'm gonna get an asset, and I might get a second asset when I spend that coin I just got.
Okay.
So my first asset is I'm going to go to the Ministry of Preservation. I assume that's like the localists kind of government, right? That's where like all the government stuff would be.
No.
Okay,
The Ministry
where
of
would
Preservation. The Ministry of Preservation is located in the seat of government, but it is not management of the local government.
Okay.
Ministry of Preservation is almost like it is almost the highest level of bureaucratic order.
Okay.
In respects, because they make sure that the preservation and survival of everyone has happened for the last 800 plus years since they've been around, right?
So essentially, I want who is the guy in charge of permits and legal documents and that kind of thing.
So that would be somebody that is a part of the local city government, so the city council, that kind of a thing.
Okay.
So yes.
So yeah, he would go to the city council.
Okay.
And the 2 assets I want to acquire is one, an asset to legitimize the religious restoration project, the 6 Towers Religious Restoration Project, a permit to build on the site that is the Garden of Eden.
Okay.
And my second
And that
one,
is-
once I spend coin, is the paperwork required for Bowerstone.
Oh, okay. Well, so okay. We're not going to talk about that until after.
Yep, but he just wants to get the documentation ready to go.
All right. Give me just 1 second as I look at something real quick. God damn it. Let me pull it up in the book. So the first one that you're going to go for is a permit to continue to restore essentially the property that is.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that is going to be a God, what is it? It is a service or an item as an asset.
I guess it would be an item more than a service. Like, we're not requesting anyone to do anything. We're just getting the item that says we're allowed to do it.
Okay, and then that's going to play into the ball, which is your last score
Yes.
for the season.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. So go ahead and roll based on your crew tier.
Do I have to roll? Okay. So
Yeah,
what am I rolling?
To acquire an asset, you roll the crew's tier. The result is the quality of the asset you get using the crew's tier.
Okay.
Now, I believe you still have a crit lying around if you want to use that.
Do I have a crit?
No, I'm sorry. It's actually OC has a crit.
Okay.
And bottom has a fail.
Yeah, so how do I roll crew tier?
So just roll 1d6 at this point.
Okay.
Or you can. There is a button on your crew sheet that allows you to do that too.
Do you know where? Because I have the crew sheet up right now.
Okay, hold on just a second. Let me pull it up. So you should be able to click on the tier button, or the tier that says right next to you where it says strong.
Yes.
That's actually clickable.
Okay. No bonus dice?
If you can make an argument for it, yeah, great. Otherwise, no.
I don't think so. He looks kind of shitty right now, too.
I would assume you would have
assumed I would have changed to
Yeah,
yes.
you would have taken care of yourself and gotten yourself back into a presentable state because you are going to some place that is essentially where you want to be as nondescript as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm skilled in persuasion. I'm not sure if that would give me one. Like, I have 2 pips in sway. I don't know if that would give me 1 bonus die for my smooth talking, my silver tongue.
Sure, I'll give you an additional die for that.
That's the only thing I can think of.
All right, that works.
3.
All right, so it is not very good.
Okay.
So 1 through 3 is a -1 to the tier, so that's tier 0.
Okay. So it's just a shitty document that may not pass anything.
Right. So it's very illegible. Right. It's basically got the charter hall. The city of government mark on it, but other than that, the document is so vague that it almost looks like it's a fake. If it wasn't for the fact that it's the seal itself. So if anybody inspects this, there's going to be trouble. So yeah.
Okay, and then I will spend coin and try to get the Bowerstone paperwork.
Okay, so I really kind of wish you wouldn't do that.
Okay,
but only because of the circumstances. I don't think it's.
Yeah, that's fine. I understand.
I don't think it's necessarily relevant at this point.
Okay, that's worked perfectly fine then.
Okay.
Then yeah, I won't spend any coin and I'll keep my coins, and then that's what I'll do.
Okay, all right, sounds good. So we're gonna move into free play, and so the first thing that happens is Violet is nowhere to be seen as you all begin to meet back at Eden. And you are trying to figure out the circumstances of what you're going to do next. When you find a half-read note in the common area underground in Eden, and it's just kind of laying there. And so one of you walks up to it, and it seems really unusual, but it's in this quite beautiful, cursive handwriting. And as you're kind of looking at it, you're a little surprised until you realize that this is actually meant for Violet. And this is what it says. My dearest child, I have watched you labor and grow in your abilities and your ambition. I'm proud of what you accomplished so far and what you have yet to do. I am now calling you to my aid. I have some business to attend to in the Imperial City, and I could use your particular brand of services. If you will join me, I will leave a ticket for your passage on the next rail express to the Imperial City. It leaves tonight. Your humble guardian, S. And as you're kind of looking at this, you realize that the S represents her family friend that she was always referring to in an affectionate manner, Skurlock. When you think about that, you're like, oh shit, that's Lord Skurlock. And that kind of gives you pause when you realize the gravity of the situation. Because as you turn it over, there's this really kind of slight sort of watermark, kind of on the paper, and you can see that it is the house crest of Skurlock. And so you are uncertain about where she is or what's going on, but then you see that most of the items that she has had in this particular location are now gone. And when you you look around the place, you realize that there is also one other scribbled note for you, and it's contained with 3 items that are kind of sitting on the desk, and it's like book. It's like the note is inside of the book, and as you kind of open the book, you pull out the note, and it reads, "Had to leave. Circumstances are such that it's been a pleasure, but I must move on. These items may help you." And it is the Codex Diabolus that she found, the blade, and the Spirit Bane charm that she found in Valen's trunk.
Sweet. Nyx would immediately run downstairs, throw open the latch to Valen's room, and make sure he's still in there, and then close the latch.
Oh, he's smiling at you.
He waves and then closes it.
The body of Valen looks a little bit emaciated because he's been down there for a while.
We haven't fed him for like a week or so.
Hey, the inspector and I was supposed to be taking care.
We killed the inspector a week ago.
You killed the inspector, remember?
Okay. I'm gonna go down there and feed him in my free time. That's my free time action.
It's to feed the demon.
Yeah.
It's to unleash the beast.
Do you go into that room?
No.
Just throws food at his mouth.
I got pizza. I have pizza folded in half, and I'm just like wiggling it in there, and then like on in a bag or something, so it doesn't like fall on the floor. Johnny, you're frozen. Your smile is fantastic.
It's amazing.
It's terrifying. You're a monster person.
Okay, it's better.
Oh,
You were
you're
happier than you should have been. You're good. You really like pizza, huh?
I'm looking at I'm checking it out. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck was going on there?
You just look at the camera the way I look at pizza.
All right, so with all that going on, you now have those 3 items. It's obvious that she's gone. She's taken all of her goods. You are left a little perplexed about the circumstances of the work that Skurlock would ask of her in the Imperial City. So there was always that thread to pull at some point. But with that in mind, you now are you're in downtime, free time or free play. And as per usual, when free play happens, a couple things come up to you, Nyx, with the Rook Network. First one is that there's some interesting news as a result of the fallout from the damn it, and he's leaving, and this is actually going to pertain to him. God damn it. Get back here, Slade. Get back here.
Having a sneeze, mate.
You know what? You can sneeze on camera. That's fine. We all
go ahead.
Nailed it.
All right. So there is news coming from Crowsfoot as a result of the circumstances surrounding the massacre that happened with the shipment. So the way the city structure works, each of the districts actually has like a regent or somebody who's in charge of, not like a mayor or what happened, but like a council representative. The city council is made up of about 6 or 7 people, but there are really kind of representatives that help report in and deal with that circumstance and are part of the governing structure. And so each district has essentially what's called an alderman. And so it turns out the alderman of Crowsfoot has been killed recently. And it's believed to be a result of the circumstances around allowing what happened in the Crowsfoot, the massacre that happened around the shipment in Crowsfoot. So from what they tell you is, it's believed that he was murdered by the Crows because the alderman was thought to be on the payroll of the Red Sashes. Because of this, there is now a call out there for a new alderman, and elections will be happening in about a month's time. And this gives, that particular, the particular individuals who want to campaign for it, time to, to do their thing and, pad the right pockets with money and that kind of a thing in order for, the election to kind of go off without a hitch. And it's surprisingly, politics in Dostball in the public eye are very smooth. It's always a landslide and that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So the other thing that you hear is that there is some big player having a huge meeting in about 3 weeks in essentially Brightstone at a hotel, at a hotel that, for the upper, essentially the nobles and anybody that is in the upper class that visits. Whenever anybody comes in from any of the other cities and they've got the money, they will stay in Brightstone at this particular hotel. There's not much detail about it other than that it appears that the factions are being corralled together. Their leadership is being courted to attend this particular meeting. And it's happening in about 3 weeks.
Guess we'll see in about 3 weeks. Yeah, is that all they got for him?
That's all the information they have for you.
All right, cool. Yeah. So Nyx would immediately dismiss his guy to go do whatever. In fact, he actually tells one of them to make contact with his asset in the red sashes. He says, "As discreetly as you can, my boy, I need you to meet our friend who works in Eastern Crowsfoot. Let him know that something big is happening and that he should lie low, because he is the most valuable asset I have currently, and I will be watching out for him."
Okay, so he's no longer an asset. Just FYI,
Yeah,
he's
a cohort.
actually a full-on cohort specifically for Nyx, though.
Yeah, he's a spy for me.
Yeah, he's essentially your cohort that you can control. So,
Yep.
The rook basically says, yeah, okay, and then takes off to convey the message almost immediately. All right, guys. So you're in free play. What are you doing? You've got a gala to plan. How are you doing this?
I have most of my girls and the decorators that did my establishments working on sprucing the place up a little bit and making it look presentable, like as a black tie event should.
So talk to me a bit about the how do you take a set of ruins and turn it into the kind of place where you would hold a gala?
So she was thinking that since this is the rebirth and the growth of the religion, she's not going to be cutting plants away and things like that whenever there's wherever it's like decrepit and things are falling down. They're going to clean, obviously, and they're going to fix the floor a little bit so it's a little bit nicer in that regard, but everything will stay as it is in regards to like the walls and everything.
Okay.
Probably a lot of like reds and whites and golds, like things that you would put in like nicer looking, so it's not as dingy and dark. More lanterns, entertainment, like find people that would normally be hanging out in the establishments doing it, like music or things like that, and have them for the next night. But everyone's, working around the clock to kind of get this ready for her.
Okay.
So Nyx will, I guess he doesn't have to remind you, but Mike will remind you that this is the church we're proposing that it's built into, the actual religious structure, is the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh.
Yeah.
So like if you're doing like themes of like red and gold and opulence and maybe like those like the hanging braziers of fire to make it look all cool, all I can think of is like the girls that aren't dates. They look like the version of Jasmine when she was captured by Evil Genie, when she was captured by Jafar Genie. With like the wispy red kind of thing, that's how I picture the church being all fucking weird.
What hours of the day did you picture this?
Mostly at night.
How long did you think about it? Would you say
30 seconds at most?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna move right on. Move that train along.
Huge load of Genie girls.
Okay. So
you get the gist. It's going to be... Sorry, go ahead.
No, please, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
damn it! Go! Please?
No, I was just saying, like she would finish up everything so it was, like, perfect in her mind of, like, what she would envision, like, a brothel, but nicer because it's a black tie event. Not, like, a sleazy whatever, but it would have those colors and aspects and intimate settings and, like, places for people to talk and things like that.
Sure, okay. So... I'm gonna ask, or actually, I'm I'm going to ask a leading question, and then I'm going to set a circumstance that happens to you guys while this is going on, and then we'll see if there's any more setup, and then we'll go immediately into a quote unquote the score. So the leading question is, you just said that it is the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh that you are representing. You are trying to build this, essentially this.
Yeah, as the state church.
Right, it is the state church. Did you actually contact anybody in the state church to make this happen?
Not
when you
yet.
sent out the invitations?
Well, when we sent out invitations, I assume they would be invited.
Well, right, but did you arrange this with anybody prior to? And it's a very leading question because I know the answer is obviously no.
I mean, what if I did it in a flashback?
You can totally do it in a flashback once the score is happening.
Okay. Then in that case-
I'm poking you a little bit because there's a hole given the circumstance that Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh.
Yep.
Okay. So, leading question aside. OC, as your girls are doing their thing, right? And they're actually working really hard because you know what? You are a hard boss to work for, but you are also a fair boss, and they appreciate that in this particular circumstance, right? You are the kind of person who expects a lot, but you pay in dividends. You really take care of your girls, so they're not easy to spook, or they're not easy to to jump to conclusions or that kind of a thing. But as they're kind of putting everything together, right, they all start at some point or another mention to each other, and it gets back to you that there is this weird, odd circumstance and feeling that they get. Like everybody knows what a spiritual, what happens when a ghost walks by you. Everybody's seen ghosts in the past, right? But in this particular case, it's almost like what you get from them is, it seems like every 15 or 20 minutes, the hair just stands up on all over their body. They get goosebumps. They feel uncomfortable and uncertain. And when that happens, they can hear just a slight wailing in the distance, the sound of goat hooves, clopping along the cobblestones near the essentially the block in this in Six Towers where Eden is located. And then it disappears. And then 15 or 20 minutes later, it comes back again. And there's this weird, uncomfortable sound, of wailing. And there's this uncomfortability and the clopping of goat hooves on the cobblestones. And it disappears again. And so that when they report this to you, it just makes you incredibly uneasy. And you kind of wish Violet was there to be able to tell you what's going on. Because it's clear that it's something, a whisper can handle. So it's something to think about.
I'm going to tell them not to worry about it and that we have someone looking into it.
Okay, fair enough. Now, anything else that you guys want to do in free play to investigate or do any research prior to the beginning of this score?
Yes.
I messaged you something as well, Johnny.
Okay, let me find that right now. Sorry. Go ahead. What
So
are you doing?
Nyx is going to gather information because he's not the religious type, and even if he was, he's from Dagger Isles, and they do things a little differently out there. So he's going to use his Rook network and his legion of contacts to consort, to gather some information on who he needs to speak to with regards to the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh.
So it is the state religious organization. It would be pretty prevalent for you to be able to contact somebody who is essentially an acolyte or a member of the church, essentially.
Right, he wants to know who's going to be in charge of, like, I want to build a new church. Who do I go see?
Well, right. So that would be the circumstance. That's the starting point of where you would
Right.
do this investigation. So, making your way through all of that, you probably would get led to somebody again in Charter Hall, where there is an opportunity for you to talk to somebody who is more about the logistical or the clerical arm of the church.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what he wants to do. He wants to talk to this clerical person and, find out what he needs to do to submit the proper paperwork. Is there someone else he needs to talk to? He presents his plan on behalf of Reymond Bowerstone.
All right,
on behalf of House Bowerstone.
Okay, I have a question to ask Reymond specifically about that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever, as the character Reymond Bowerstone, have you ever shown any religious tendencies prior to? Would the character have expressed himself in any way?
I imagine that he found Violet at Eden after the tragic death, and he went to Eden looking for answers for what's the word is for comfort in the deaths, and he sought out religion, and in seeking out religion, that is where he found Violet, and that is where the two got together, and that was where it all started there.
He found the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Well, no, but Bowerstone is your. I mean, the way that I understood you've always played the character is that Bowerbaum. I mean, you're basically Batman. Bowerbaum is who you really are, and Bowerstone is the image that you put into the world in order to be able to get through day-to-day life.
Like day-to-day life, he's not religious. So he doesn't worship anyone.
Right, but do you present that Bowerstone is a penitent man?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's important in this particular case. So when Nyx goes and has this conversation, you begin to start to you begin this conversation with this accountant person, and they're very interested once you mention the name, or you mention the House Bowerstone. They immediately perk up because they recognize that it is an old name, and that they are essentially a person who's grown up in not poverty, but in the circumstances of the church. Now, the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh is not necessarily a largely spiritual organization. People don't pass over to the other side. It's all about the flesh now. Mm-hmm. And so anytime that happens, right, anytime anybody represents themselves as a devout to that particular religion, it's more about the Dionysian kind of elements to this. So for them to talk to you about setting this new location and everything else as you're trying to build this back up, they ask you all of the questions of what are you going to provide, why is he interested in doing this, what are you going to provide, that why is Six Towers important, isn't it a falling down kind of a neighborhood kind of a thing, isn't it in disrepair, isn't it a neighborhood that is no longer they're trying to get more information out of you. They're trying to pull more information out of you about the circumstances, why you think Six Towers is the appropriate place to do this.
So, Bowerstone, your family, your ancestral home is in Six Towers, correct? You guys never made the move to whatever the hell, Brightstone?
No, it's Six Towers.
Okay. So that's the base reason he gives them, because the Bowerstone family still lives in Six Towers. The Bowerstone family did not buy into the Leviathan Hunter. They did not make the transfer to Brightstone. So a ancient family such as the Bowerstones, they are diminished here in Six Towers. They wish to restore it to its former glory, starting with the church. As anyone knows, is the central focal point of a good hearth and home, a good community.
Okay. So what information are you trying to get from them? Because you found the person that you essentially need, or what are you trying to set up for the score?
The shit we need to officiate this.
Okay, so to expedite this a little bit, or to make this go a little bit faster, what I'm going to say is they will send somebody to this event to officiate, And what that basically means is basically bless all the people who are going to get physical. You know that
Okay.
that's what the circumstances is. It's essentially a blessing of the state church to say that this is going to happen. So, and then
that's it.
You sure can if you really want to.
Yes.
Okay.
So, any values, input, position, and whatever?
Well, this is an investigation, or this is a research.
Yeah,
so
gather
there's
information.
there is definitely a circumstance where position and effect are going to have a play.
Okay.
I think that the circumstances is it's controlled because
They're
there's
hostile, there's no.
Well, it's not only that they're not hostile; they're not. There's no circumstance where there's any danger of any kind or any risk of you just saying, "Hey, I want to get religious and I want to start." So
I want to get some naked Jesus all up in this business.
exactly.
And standard effect.
Limited in my mind, unless you can come up with another reason. And the reason I say it's limited is because essentially they're coming to bless.
Yep.
They're not sanctioning anything you're doing. If you want, you could be basically you're doing information research. What action are you taking though?
Consort. So I use
Your
my
consort.
contacts to get up here, the Bowerstone name.
All right. So the circumstance is that they're going to bless the event.
Okay.
Based on the limited. If you want them to sanction the event,
Yes.
I could see you spending one of your
I'm going to spend my last point.
position.
My last position
Okay.
to make it standard, so they can
And
sanction
make it
the
standard.
event.
Okay. All right.
And then when rolling consort to gather information, I gain +1.
Okay.
So 1 free bonus die for me, and then I think that's it. Unless anyone has any other reason why I should have any bonus.
Would it
dice.
help if I went with you?
Probably would.
It
Based on my
probably would.
profession?
Yeah. If you want to assist, you can spend 2 stress to assist.
I will do that.
Sweet. 5.
Okay. So they definitely they look at the circumstance. They hear your interest. The name of Bowerstone, OC's presence because of who she is as a businesswoman, but also
A purveyor of flesh.
a purveyor of flesh. All of these things lead to them saying, "Okay, we're going to start the paperwork here. We will come and bless your circumstance, and then we will see you. We will see you at the event, and we will talk more there."
Phrasing.
Again?
Sorry.
Am I really freezing again?
No, I said
She said
phrasing.
Oh,
No, don't tell her off. Listen.
no. She mumbled phrasing. I heard freezing. Sorry.
So
I'm
yeah,
just-
You're just super paranoid.
That's my gather information.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the actual score itself. So, what type of engagement is this? What type of score is this?
Wait a minute. The paperwork that says that we have the ability to build at
6 towers.
who signed it?
Why?
Who signed it?
Why?
They just signed a contract.
You sure did.
I have binding permission to build at Eden.
You. All right. So what are you trying to get at?
I'm not trying to get anything. If they so the reading is when you shake on a deal or draft one in writing, the deal being you allow me to build at Eden. It's a ghost contract. I didn't even think of it until just now. I was reading to see if I could fuck with anybody else.
So the
That's
way
why
I
I'll sign things.
well, so the way I interpret that is
Okay.
that you have to intentionally want a
Okay,
ghost contract.
that's fair. That's totally fair.
If you intentionally want a ghost contract, I will be more than happy to create the NPC that signed it for you, but he will be some low level clerk.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. If he's a low level cleric, I wouldn't have thought about. I wouldn't even thought about it at that point,
All right.
unless he was some fancy
Right.
pants bigwig.
So remember that though,
Yeah.
in the circumstances with regards to the sanctioning of
Yes.
the church. Let's
Yep.
be honest. Okay. All right. So, what type of score is this? What type of plan are you going in?
Social event, I would assume.
Okay. That makes sense to me. So, the social connection is
So my
actually going.
My question is,
What?
are we doing 2 scores?
No.
What do you mean?
The other one, the warehouse.
In your head.
Do you want to treat them as linked scores?
I think they should be linked. I
Yeah.
think they should.
Link scores, yep.
All right.
So I'm not sure how to do that though.
So which one do you want to go off first?
The warehouse.
They're supposed to happen at the same time.
All right. Which one do you want to resolve? Okay. Which one do you want to set up first? Then we'll set up the second one. Then the circumstances of the first one will go off. And then
The previous.
Yeah. So I guess the gala would have to go off first. The gala would be started. The second one would happen midway through.
Yep.
Okay.
That makes sense.
All right. So let's start with the gala again.
Sure.
And
So then social
you're being
contract.
big enough for the audience to go, what the fuck are you guys talking about at this point? So let's talk about the gala. It is a social engagement.
Yep.
The social connection is the detail that you need. Now, previously, I had said I was going to roll a fortune roll to cover the invitations that OC would send out through her girls in blackmail,
Yep.
and that Reymond would send out as prestige through his connections with the noble house.
Yep.
Social connection is your detail, so I'm not gonna roll anything. It's gonna get determined by the engagement roll itself.
Okay.
So because that fits because you said social engagement,
Yep.
social planning. Okay. Now, with all of that, that's your detail. Item loadout. Are you guys changing anything up?
I don't think I am.
I did.
Yeah, Nyx has a light load.
I have fine clothes and jewelry, trans powder, and throwing knives. So I have a light.
Okay.
I have a light load.
Okay. Bowerstone, you are not in bottom clothes.
Oh, my fine cover identity that I always have on me is that of an assistant to Mr. Reymond Bowerstone, with authentic paperwork to prove that I am a house. I work for House Bowerstone.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I've got my jacket back.
You do have your jacket back, and I have my original jacket that you threw on the floor.
Yes, I did. And I'm only going to be packing throwing knives on me.
And that's it?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
It's a gala, sir. It's not the red wedding.
All right. So, with all of that in mind, it's now time for the engagement roll. 1d6 for sheer luck,
Yep.
right off the bat.
One
What
for
major
me,
advantage?
One for me
What-
weaving the web.
Okay, so that's 2d6.
That's one for my ability.
One for all the preparation that OC put into it, and her everything, all the women being there.
All right, so that's 3.
One for the
Can we
official
get-
sanction of the
Yeah.
church.
Yep.
The official sanction of the church.
So it's at least allowed to be happening right now.
All right, sure. 46.
Do we gain it as well? This is our home base.
Word of our community
Neutral
claim
territory. Or
spreads.
good territory. Okay.
Well, no, it's not neutral territory. It's
It's home field advantage.
Preferred territory. That's what I meant.
it's your HQ essentially. It's on top of your
Okay.
HQ, right?
Okay. 5 makes sense to me.
Yeah,
So 5.
that's all I can think of.
Okay, so let's talk about disadvantages, and I want you guys to be honest. I've got a couple in mind, but can you guys think of any at first?
What's going on with the girls? Hearing things and being spooked? And the guys, the courtesans? Once the party is going, though, you can't hear it, so never mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing that would be, it's a distraction because they're not
Yeah.
distracted.
Don't worry, Ginge. I got your back. The demon we have locked in the basement.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
a
4.
euphemism, or?
Well, we'll talk about that after stream. LiveYasmin.com/Hello Ninja or Hello Ginger.
I thought it was Hello Demon, but okay.
Either way. So there's that. I mean, the blue coats were told to stay out of Crowsfoot. A lot of the Crowsfoot gangs won't be there. They'll be at the Crowsfoot fucking off. The Northwood Company is still trying to find their shit.
Yeah, but none of those are directly connected to.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. I'm trying to go
Shroud
back.
right now.
Like the only other thing I can think of is the Phantoms, but we don't know anything about them. We just know they were nosing around, but then they left.
Why'd you take one away?
The demon.
So the one is the demon. This is the demon.
Yeah.
The second is going to be the fact that you used blackmail and coercion to get some of these people here. So there's going to be some resentment going on. So it's going to be 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she would have done it in a way that it was. I'll still take like that's fair, but they won't. I don't think they'll be not having a good time because she'll be like,
oh no, it's not.
You're here
it's
all
not
the time. You're gonna come here and enjoy this party because.
You're absolutely right.
You know.
It's the circumstance is not necessarily the fact that they're not going to enjoy themselves. It's that there might be there might be some resentment and some hostility if something comes up in the circumstance. So they're gonna be there, right? For the most part they're going to be there, but there's going to be it's going to have an effect, right? It could be a consequence because you don't have 4 dice instead of 3.
Okay.
All right. So circumstances are 3d6. Let's see what happens with this engagement. Why is that not working for me? Okay. So roll 3d6. 4. 4 is your starting circumstance on the engagement. So, describe to me what it's like when people show up to the gala. What does it look like? What is the experience of going to the gala?
I think when you first walk in, it's a lot to take in. People are probably a little overwhelmed when they first walk in, and it's the ambiance and all the people and the type of people. And it's probably a little bit odd to some people, maybe. The assortment of people that are there and how it looks.
Okay.
Like everyone's having fun, everyone's having a good time, but when people first walk in, I'm sure they're a little like, what?
Okay. All right. So as people are arriving, their carriages are brought up. You guys have done enough work to make sure that the carriages are able to be parked off to the side. Noble people are being brought in, both male and female. Some couples, some just male, some just female. All patrons of the church and the arts. They're all being brought in. The party seems to be going reasonably well to start off with.
So I assume the way that they're arriving is like, I assume that the church would have arrived first to like be able to be there to do the blessings as soon as people started getting physical.
Well, so you would know that the typical church gatherings don't always start off with debauchery, right? It's something that you build up to that with the drinks. And the narcotics and other types of things just kind of coming into play as people begin to really indulge their vices. For the most part, it's the kind of thing that ramps up. So the church may not necessarily arrive immediately, but they do arrive, and at some certain point, and that's when things really begin to happen.
So before the church arrives, Nyx would be at the door greeting people on behalf of House Bowerstone. This honorable Lord Reymond Bowerstone welcomes you here to 6 Towers in the Garden of Eden. Please have food, drink, libations, women, fun, men, if you choose. And then once the church arrives, he would grab whichever one looks not the most important, but like moderately important, and put him opposite him on the door so that it looked like the church was also greeting them into this thing. And he would make sure to welcome and glad hand everybody and make sure to be on behalf of his honorable Lord Reymond Bowerstone, etc., etc. The full, access to all of the Garden of Eden is yours to partake of the fruit of the garden. Yeah, he would do that. That's his intro spiel.
All right. So as that's happening, how well does Nyx know the guest list? Like, would this be the kind of thing where Nyx would be very, very focused on the guest list?
Man.
We probably would have hired someone to do that. Like, one of my people probably has a list of names that the 2 of us gave out.
Right. But this question isn't about the mechanical circumstance so much as it is from a character perspective. Is Nyx
So Nix
focused
would have
on the attendees.
seen the guest list at a minimum, but he would have only focused on people that he thinks are important to him. People that might have a tie to Northhook, people that may have a tie to the Ministry, and people that may have a tie to the Hive, I guess, is his big situation. Oh, and anyone from the Dagger Isle, what the hell, consulate.
Okay. All right. So all of this, kind of happening. You see the various important people that you expect to come through, right? And as the church, one of the church individuals just is kind of standing opposite you and doing the greeting and everything, things seem to be going incredibly well until this carriage pulls up, and it really kind of catches your eye because it's this white carriage. It's just this beautiful, ornate sort of white kind of thing that's almost otherworldly because it's not practical. It's so ornate. There's so many intricate levels of design, kind of inlaid all over it. And on the side of it, you see the same symbol that I showed OC, which is on. I'll switch it back to the screen. You see this design.
I probably would have told them about that.
Okay.
I wouldn't have given them any details at all about whatever,
right.
But I would have.
Sure, absolutely. That's perfectly acceptable. But so you see the symbol just kind of, inlaid in on the side of the carriage door, and that symbol is just kind of there, and it's this beautiful, ornate, fantastic carriage, and it's just the craftsmanship is unusual, and pulling it is this albino goat that is just the tallest, one of the biggest goats you've ever seen. It's over 10 feet tall, and its horns extend even taller, and its hooves are gigantic, and it is probably the most healthy goat you've ever seen. But it is albino, and it is just this stark, bright white in contrast to everything else that is dark. And so when the light catches off of its coat, it shimmers and shines a little bit, almost. Carriage door opens, and out steps quite a lanky, tall man, all dressed in white. And he's carrying a cane, and he walks forward. And immediately next, it sets you off. This person is not supposed to be here. This is not anybody that you recognize, and he is definitely not in the noble house.
Yeah, the guy with white fucking goat would be... that would stand out to him.
Well, and so as he kind of moves forward, he steps up to you and hands you an invitation.
I open it and see who it's addressed to.
So the interesting thing about your invitations are that they weren't actually addressed to anybody on the actual invitation itself. They were given to couriers with specific destinations.
Okay, then he looks at it, flips it over, hands it to somebody, and he says, "Welcome on behalf of House Bowerstone. Welcome, enjoy all of our libations, and what may I announce you as?"
No announcement necessary. And the person begins to move forward.
No, sir. A man of your stature, your albino goat's nothing I've seen before. You are a stark contrast to most people in here. Someone like you deserves an announcement.
No, it's good. And he hands you over a note. And he says, "This will do."
He curtly nods and takes the note and says, "Well then, enjoy the fruits of Eden." And as soon as Nyx is able to discreetly open that note, he's going to discreetly open that note.
When you open it, it's in this beautiful, very tiny kind of script, very, very ornate. It's almost like calligraphy. Just the cursiveness and the shape of the letters and everything else are just phenomenal. And it's a very short note. And at the top it says, "N." Not any other word or whatever. It says "N, comma. Your efforts have not gone unnoticed. However, your methods are sloppy. Please accept my invitation And at the bottom, it says a time and a date, and it's indicated as the hotel in Brightstone, the meeting in 3 weeks. And at the bottom, instead of a signature, there is a treble clef. And that is it.
Nick's peas a little. Out of excitement.
Okay.
And so he moves inside, and he appears to be the toast, as everybody just kind of recognizes him, but nobody says his name. Everybody just appears to recognize this particular person. And when you ask somebody about it, because it gets your
Nick
curiosity,
would absolutely ask.
nobody can seem to name him and remember where they met him, but they've all met him before.
Interesting. Okay. That's fucking weird.
All right. So Nyx is doing his greeting. What's going on with OC? What is she doing?
She has not arrived yet.
Oh, she has not.
Gotta be
Okay,
fashionably late.
Like
Okay.
she'll arrive once, like maybe like half an hour, 45 minutes in.
What about
in an
Bowerstone?
obnoxiously fancy, pretty much see-through dress. Like a red lace, long train, just obnoxious dress.
I'm imagining like a Rose McGowan kind of a thing back when she was a thing.
Back when she
So,
was a woman.
okay. Wasn't that?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, where's Bowerstone?
Mysteriously absent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means that we're going to go to the linked score that's going on.
And that starts with a flashback.
Right. So,
By me.
wait a minute. We're going to cut and we're going to say, what type of plan is this?
This is an assault, I think.
Okay.
I can't
All right.
imagine it's anything else.
Well, so
I mean, I guess it could be deception. Would be the alternate.
I think it also could be a deception.
Yeah.
So
I would say it's deception then. In that case, we already know the method of deception. We literally lied to everybody to get them all here.
Okay. Does
so-
everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So what is the method of deception? Was the stories that Nyx told through his long-term project and his contact with the Lamplax. Is that correct? Okay. So since you've already detailed what it is that you guys have for loadout, we're just going to skip that. And we're going to talk engagement roll. 1d6 for sheer luck.
The planning that's gone into this.
That's 2d6.
The convincing of everyone to be here.
Someone else is helping. One of my friends.
That sweet,
Okay.
sweet crit.
What sweet crit?
The crit I got to close out the clock. That's it. I don't have anything else.
All right. I can only think of one negative for removal or to remove one of these. Does anybody else have a disadvantage that they think, a major disadvantage that plays into this?
They told the blue coats to get the fuck out of there. The red sashes did. As far as we're aware, no one caught wind of this.
Well, so that's one of the positives, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that essentially falls into the
Yeah.
crit stat.
I'm trying
Okay,
to
so
rule
just
out
think
the
of
negatives. Yeah.
no, just there's. I don't think there are any.
I don't think I can.
I mean,
Okay.
we've got this so tightly planned.
I love that you said that because it's usually overly planned things that fail,
Right.
but that's not why I'm going to remove it. Why I'm going to remove it is because there are 3 factions that hate each other all in the same space.
Yeah,
So that is a definite disadvantage.
And the mysterious power bomb.
that's the same thing. It's the circumstance of who's meeting.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
people
think-
hate me too.
I think it's the
that's what I'm
circumstance.
saying.
I think it's definitely the circumstance of this meeting. So it's going to be 46. All right.
Powerbomb's fucked.
All right. So I'm going to switch this back over to the map real quick. That way we can obviously point everybody where this is happening and why is Roll20 being a pain in the ass. Thank you very much. Okay. So the little purple spot on the map over here, or whatever that is where this circumstance of this score is happening. We are going to call this 46. Let's see where the dice leave you guys. Okay, a 5. So, reasonable set of circumstances. The Lamplacks are the first to arrive. They come into the warehouse proper. They appear to look around and realize that they are the first to arrive and begin to take positions in expectation of this being a shit show. So there are some defensive positions that they take, but otherwise they're good to go. They're sitting at a table essentially, and the rest of their guys are hidden. In walks the crows, who are a little surprised as they begin to look around, looking for the contents of the containers and looking for the assistant to Mr. Timmons, was it?
Timoth was the guy from the Hive.
No, but who was that you worked
We
for?
didn't actually get Glasses' his name. I assume you're talking about Glasses. Oh, you're talking about Mr. Tillman. Mr. Tillman's assistant.
Mr. Tillman, sorry.
Mr. Tillman's assistant never gave a name. They never asked.
Right. So I'm saying they're looking for the assistant to Mr. Tillman.
Yep.
Okay. So they're looking for the assistant to Mr. Tillman, and when they realize that the Lamplacks are, sitting at a table, they begin to draw blades and are a little uncomfortable. They came expecting not a fight, though. So both the Lamplacks and the crows are on equal footing. When there begins to be an exchange of words and lots of threats from a corner door, because they were expecting a fight, in walk the Red Sashes. And as they see the conflict going on, blades begin to draw. The lieutenant that you had spoken to is looking around, kind of assessing the situation, and he sends his men in to begin armed conflict with both the Lamplacks and the crows. But he is kind of standing back, looking for Bowerbaum, who you established. Mm-hmm. Okay, that is the starting circumstance. They are all in there. They're all incredibly cautious about the situation, but they're all in there, and there is verbal conflict on the level of armed conflict happening. So, who wants to start telling us exactly what's going on here?
So the Bowerbaum is going to appear from the shadows.
Okay.
Coming out, and he will take out the Leviathan 2 vials that he had. He's going to place them on the table.
In between the Lamplacks and the crows?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's going to just look around in his mask. Calm. Everyone. Leaders. If you could please be seated.
There is a lot of yelling and a lot of frustration, and the lieutenant from the Red Sashes, seeing you, immediately begins to approach, blade drawn, as everyone is just like unsure of the circumstances because the Bowerbottom wasn't expected there. Sorry, Bowerbottom.
So at that then, are they all around the table then, since the Red Sashes guy was the last one?
Well, so yeah, so the crows and the Red Sashes are currently arguing around the table, and it's this big, big empty warehouse, and really at the center of it is this table. Imagine very much a Reservoir Dogs kind of a setting, except there's a table in the center of it, and there's 2 arguing parties, and they're starting to draw their blades, but it's like getting to the point where it's going from being a verbal conflict to a physical conflict, and when you appear, it offsets them and unsettles them a little bit. Their blades are not being taken away, but they're not being pointed at you. It's only when you come fully essentially into the light that is around the table and drop those 2 vials that the Red Sashes lieutenant looks at you and begins to curse your name and starts to move towards you.
So with them close to me then,
Okay.
he's just going to look down at the vials and look back up. This bleak and shrouded world will have its change.
Okay.
The effect goes off.
And the what?
As the effect goes off.
Okay, so what is the effect?
From the distance, there is as various crates now begin to explode that have been packed with explosives. The warehouse itself engulfed in flames and is even blown out with everyone inside it.
Okay, so with the circumstances as they are, the warehouse light ignites up and everything just kind of explodes. In the center of this are essentially the leadership of the Lampblacks and the leadership of the leadership of the Crows. We're basically at that table. The Red Sashes, on the other hand, did not necessarily send their leaders, their quote unquote leader. They sent, a good majority of their force, which has already been decimated by the circumstances of the massacre that happened with the Leviathan. So when this all goes up, you hear screams and you hear yells and you hear the bells go off, right? Like that there's a fire going. And so this is the third fire in just a short amount of time. And so there's your sheer bloody panic going off all over the place. And off in the distance, the crows are beginning to caw, and you can hear them coming in mass as there's probably about 30 bodies between all three factions. Now, where are you really? I can't hear you.
He died.
The barrel bomb is dead.
That's not what I asked. Where are you looking at this from?
Bowerbomb's dead.
He's dead. That was that.
The Bower Bomb is dead. I think you need to explain the circumstance of the Bower Bomb's death.
Is that a flashback?
Okay, you're ruining it right now, Johnny.
No, I'm not ruining it because you need to explain the circumstance now.
So now we're at the party. Bowerbomb's dead. So as we're walking around the gala, there are tink, 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 tinks on a bunch of glasses. Everyone's gathering around. People are quieting down a little bit. As Mr. Bowerstone takes the stage, Nye does a flashback. You
OC
do does a flashback. This mask might be a little tight. I'm sorry. I know we have a lot more going on. I appreciate you helping me, Nye. Don't fuck this up. I know you like to get dramatic. None of your little speeches, none of your, messing with things around here. Just stick to the plan. And then when you're done, just, you can come and do whatever you're going to do at the party. We all know you can't resist a party. And with that, she'll give her a kiss, pull the mask over, hand her the Leviathan blood, and leave.
Okay.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here tonight for the religious resurgence of the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh, I present to you his Lord Honorable and ever so graceful, Reymond Bowerstone.
And at that, Raven will get up to I'm guessing there's a podium there, take his drink, and he'll look over to Nyx, giving him a nod, then looking over to OC and giving her a nod as well. Thank you, friends, lords, and ladies, for coming. Tonight, we remember a time where we were not afraid to go outside, especially when wars were not fought on our streets. But, like Eden, Crowsfoot used to be a thing of greatness. Now it is only a reminder of what once was. But we can have back what we lost. Ladies and gentlemen, not only is this gala to raise funds to rebuild this church, but I am also here to rebuild Crowsfoot. And that is why I am announcing my campaign for Alderman. With my direction and my funds, we will make this the safest place to be. No one, when I am Alderman, will dare cause trouble. And only with your votes and your support can we achieve greatness. Now please, eat, drink, and remember, a vote for Bowerstone is a vote for your future. Together, we can strike back at these killers and these phantoms and take back our city.
And with that, there are cheers all over the place, and that's where we're going to end it. Well done, guys. Well fucking done.
Boom! Suck it, everybody
Okay.
else.
All right, so you
Oh,
Well, the
All right.
campaign's over now. Just
And
go.
Nye and OC ride the white goat off into the sunset.
Okay, so let's give you guys details, or let's do payoff,
sure.
and then at the start of season 2, we will essentially there will be, we'll call it no heat and no entanglement from this, and I'm going to extend the same thing to Phantom for whatever they accomplish tomorrow, but we will do payoff, and then we'll go immediately into XP. Okay, so for the first score. And we're going to call that the
gala.
No, we're actually going to call it the explosive circumstances. So each of those
We're above our station.
each of those were at least one level above your station. So I'm going to say that's 3 rep initially. On top, or sorry, 2 rep initially plus the 3 rep for the above your station.
Okay.
It's a pretty big score. I mean,
What's a
you
big
just
score?
eliminated the leadership of 2 of the 3 factions that you know of immediately. Like you guaranteed know that 2 of those 3 factions are gone. So I'm going to say it's
And a large force of a large portion of the remaining force, which was already decimated,
Right,
is also
of-
missing.
of the red sashes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that this is probably a big score. I'm going
Okay.
to say that's 8 coin.
So that's what coin?
8 coin.
8 coin. Okay, so first of all, we just gained 5 rep, which puts us at 1 over the max. So we spend all 8 of those coin to go up to tier 2.
To tier 2. Okay. Excellent. So now you are officially a tier 2 faction.
Yep.
And we will work out the details of everything else that related to that. But congratulations, guys! That's fucking awesome. Okay, so let's go to individual XP
What
now.
about the gala?
Oh, sorry, you're absolutely right. The gala. I apologize. Gala was another 2 rep by default.
Yep.
Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh was
They
there.
are at least level 4, I think.
No, I think they're level 3.
Are they?
That's one.
Last time I say what?
Is that one more if they're 3?
Yeah.
I was just wondering how.
The Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh. Where are they?
It's the difference between you and them, is what you get bonus.
Where are they? No, you're absolutely right. They're 4. So since you advanced, that's 2 rep. So
Yep.
that's 4. Okay. So on top of that, that's also a reasonably big score, but not as prolific as killing off 2 factions. So, what do you guys think? Is this a small job or a standard job? Because it's definitely not minor. You guys get at least 4 or 6 coin.
I would say small because it also bolstered my rep for my business. It also helped his reputation as, to become.
Oh, it increased Bowerstone's rep significantly for him to immediately announce his candidacy for a job that just recently became available. So,
Yeah, so I think this is, like, monetarily this was a small score. Like, our goal wasn't money, our goal was power. And I think we achieved
Right.
that in spades. So
Absolutely.
whatever small score is.
so a small job is 4 coin.
Okay.
Right. And so no heat, no entanglements.
Yep.
And when we start the next season, you guys will go right into downtime.
Okay.
Love it.
And that way you guys can, and we'll call it 4 downtime apiece because those were 2 scores.
Sweet.
Do we do our experience?
So 4,
Yes,
4,
we're
and
going to do
6.
experience.
Okay.
Cool.
Absolutely.
I have to think of 6
All right.
downtimes. Are you kidding me?
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I get 3 per score.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So we have one extra coin that can't go in our vaults because our vaults are full. So OC, take that extra coin.
You need to look at stashes.
Okay.
We do have one stash.
Okay. You should.
Mike's
That is a great way to store additional coin.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I'll take it.
okay. Who wants to go first for individual XP?
I'll go first.
We'll let Ginger go.
You address the challenge with deception or influence. Influence by blackmailing these people to come here.
Well, and I would call the circumstances around Nye deception.
Yep.
So
Also, beliefs drives heritage background. What happened with Nye coming back?
absolutely.
Also, my vice with her.
Okay. So that's going to be you struggling with your vice. Actually, that's a circumstance of you actually took the risk and overindulged, and I think that's definitely you struggling with it.
Okay.
So that's one for your beliefs, drives, heritage, and background, and one for your issues with vice or trauma.
And two for deception.
Well, so you get 2 for deception. I think that you do get another one related to with your beliefs, drives, heritage, and background. I think that you deserve another one for the way that you pressed her for information when she brought you the symbol and it was trouble and she wouldn't reveal it. There was definitely a lot of stress there, and you were confident. Your belief in your relationship with her was all about trust, right? This is the person that you trust, and if she couldn't trust you, there's a circumstance there that's uncomfortable. So I think you stressing that trust, you deserve another XP for that. So,
Okay.
So that's 5 XP I think altogether.
Okay.
All right, who wants to go next?
His Royal Lordship, Alderman Bowerstone.
I'm
Is he
running.
really the alderman?
I am running.
Is he really the alderman yet?
I mean,
Please tell me.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. Anyways, go on.
Alright, so result of issues with deception or influence. I mean, yes. I mean, 1 for the Bowerstone and then the influence of getting everyone to the gala. So 2 straight off the
Okay.
bat. Alright, backgrounds, beliefs, drives, and heritage. The background of being who Reymond was, his family name to get everyone there. His beliefs for justice, you could say, now that he's becoming alderman, so he can do more, have more power, control more things.
Okay.
So that's another 2.
Okay.
Desperate action or vice.
I don't think you took one.
No. You said a relief stress, but
You indulge your
Yeah.
vice, but it wasn't it wasn't a situation that implied struggle. Unlike so with OCs, the reason that yours is a struggle is because it's so directly tied to Nye.
yeah.
So even if Nye is involved, it's okay. But because she disappeared and then came back, that was where the struggle is. That was where the essentially the conflict of the story was in the narrative. So
Okay, that's all good. So year 4.
all right, right on. Good job. All right, Mr. Nix, talk to me.
Cool. So I took a desperate action.
Yes.
So that's
that's
one,
one there.
That's 1 point in resolve.
Yep.
So I took a desperate action. I addressed the challenge with calculation and conspiracy several times. The lying to the North Hook, the getting everyone together, and the church.
Right. So that's 2.
That's 2. I expressed my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I don't feel like I did. I mean, other than my drive being a megalomaniac.
Well, so you I could see your drives or your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I believe drive is there because the entire result of this session
Yep.
was your drive for that well, you call it megalomania, but I would call it just your ability to control all of those situations as best as you could.
Okay.
Right, and have these plans come to fruition. So all of that was happening as a part of your essentially your playbook characteristic, but
Yeah.
that's also generic characteristic. So I think that you just at least deserve 1 there for
Okay.
that.
I know that when you were playing Homeless,
Right.
did you have a background
Um,
in being homeless?
I mean, I did
implementing that.
Yeah, I did play up the fact that I'm from the Dagger Isles. I even switched the accent up so the Northhook wouldn't recognize it. Not sure if that counts. Not
Sure.
If that-
We'll call that one too.
Okay. Struggle with issues for my vices. Nope, I didn't struggle with vices at all. So, yeah, desperate action challenge. That's it. That was 4.
All right. So let's talk. Okay. All right. That's 4. All right. So let's talk about the crew's character sheet. What about crew XP?
So we executed a successful espionage, sabotage, or theft operation. We did 3, so 2 XP for that.
Okay.
Contend with challenges above your current station. Northhook, the entire explosion, and all the people at the gala, so I would say 2 for that.
Yep.
Bolstered your crew's reputation or developed a new one. I think we greatly did that.
Absolutely.
And expressed the goals, drives, inner conflict, and essential nature of the crew. I would arguably say we did that twice as well.
Yeah, that seems like a full 8 for you guys.
Sweet business. So just so we know, guys, we did advance the crew to tier 2. So everyone... actually, we advanced the crew twice. So on this thing, it says, upon crew advance, PCs each get +2 stash, +1 per tier. So you gain 3 stash on your character sheet for the first advancement, and 4 stash on your sheet for the second advancement. That's on your character sheet.
Wait, so how many for each? I had 1 before.
A total of 7 stash. You should have more than 1. You should have at least 4.
Already?
Yeah, the first time we leveled up our crew to tier 1, you gained 3.
So I'll put 10 in. 'Cause I don't really know.
That makes sense.
Yep. So we gained 7 stash from this this game here. And just for clarification, stash is like how fancy you look. Like 10 stash means you're relatively poor. 20 stash means that you're livable. 30 stash means that you're like high middle class, and then 4 stash or 40 stash means you're living the noble life. You're living a pretty good life. Mansion and Benz, Biggie Smalls. Yeah, that's all I got. Hashtag.
All right.
Cool. So, guys, this has been the final episode of Season 1 of The Shroud. I fully expect none of you to have seen that outcome coming, because we didn't even see it coming. We didn't know how big of a load it would be until recently. There it is. So yeah, guys, this has been The Shroud. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. there is the season finale of The Phantom. So as soon as we're done streaming Havoc in the Hinterlands over here, we're going to toss that host over to those guys and watch them wrap up their night. I'm sure it's going to go off without a hitch. I'm sure the Northhook Company isn't looking for them at all, which is great for them, I think. Yeah, so this has been an awesome time. Definitely check out Johnny's channel. Go follow him right now. Go check him out, because Friday we're going to be doing a show on his channel at 8 p.m. called Talks in the Dark. It's going to be me. So far it's going to be me, Johnny, and Speedy, and we're going to be doing a recap of Season 1 from both sides, how it was interacting with both sides, how much of a shit show it was for Johnny, because we tortured him every day for hours a day. You're going to see the winner of the exclamation point Blades giveaway. If you guys want to jump in to enter that, exclamation point Blades in the chat. You guys have 1 more day to enter that. We'll be doing the giveaway then, and we'll be announcing all kinds of new fun shit for Season 2 that will be coming up in, I believe, about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go do our outros, and we'll jump over and host a friend of ours. So we'll start with the wonderful, the gracious, the amazing, the enigmatic Johnny. Who are you? What are you doing here? And what did you think of tonight's session?
All right, let's start with what I think about tonight's session. I've known bits and pieces of your plan for an incredible long time, and I'm surprised at how well the dice rolled for you guys. Even with the dice pulls that you guys had, I was expecting more conflict. So that changes my perspective, and this show changed my perspective on how I would run games moving forward, because you guys were too successful. There needed to be a little bit more circumstance for you. Given all that, you guys did amazing tonight. It was awesome. Awesome planning, awesome execution. There was more RP from you guys. There was more engagement from you guys, just as a whole table. Really proud of you guys. You guys did amazing. So With that, I'm just going to say, I'm Johnny, run the Video Store Cowboy channel. I'm the GM for 6 and 20, which is the collaboration of this show on unMade's channel and the other show on Speedy's, which happens tomorrow night, which Mike has alluded to. And we will be talking again on Friday about other things, and you can find a link on as it's posted in chat on my channel. So thanks, appreciate it, guys.
Sweet. So I will give everyone a little bit of a hot scloozy here. On August 12th, we have a 12-hour stream. Yes, 12-hour stream from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. That is going for Extra Life Kids to help sick kids not be sick because sick kids are gross. So far, we've raised $1,500. We're going for $3,000 because we blew my goal of $1,000 out of the water. And on that show, on that day, August 12th, 10 to 10, at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Johnny will be here running first episode of what is it? Tales from the Dark? Is that what it's called?
I think we're calling Tales. Yeah.
The first episode of Tales from the Dark, which is a possibly ongoing one shot in the Blades in the Dark 6 and 20 universe. So if you guys want to leave your mark on 6 and 20, definitely join the Discord and watch for when I put that call to arms out for people to jump in that stream. And with that call to arms, we'll go to the person who has the right to bear arms. Expedition Ninja, who are you? What are you doing here? And why are your arms so bare? Actually, what did you think of tonight?
Too many questions.
Yep.
Tonight was great. Tonight was complicated and very elaborate, and it's been kind of stressful getting it together. And I know that we all have different ideas and different, everything, but it was good that it worked out the way it did. Otherwise, Bowerbomb probably would have actually died.
Yeah, we were real close to Bowerbomb actually dying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty close. But I run a gaming channel. I do horror games. I do first-person shooters, things like that. We do movie nights. We're going to try to do this more often. And yeah, pretty pumped for that 12-hour stream.
Sweet. Speaking of Bowerbomb dying, the man, the myth, legend himself, Quick Dice Gaming, Slade, who are you? What are you doing here? And what did you think of tonight's session?
So guys, 11 weeks ago when I got invited to join the game, I originally thought it was a one-shot, and now 11 weeks later we're here at the season finale of a 10-week game, and I honestly can't thank Mike, VideoStore, and Ginger enough for being the greatest cast that I could have to game with. It's been absolutely fun. I'm happy I'm drinking now because holy shit, there's a lot of stuff to do in that, but it's been great. Come check out my channel. We're close to 100 followers if you want to see some shenanigans. As I say, I like to mess with Video Store a lot, so I'm going to see if we can make that a regular thing. Shh, video, it's okay. But yeah, guys.
The salt is real.
I just want to give a special shout out to Mike and Video Store, though. These guys have helped me out a lot, get my own channel set up. So, guys, thank you so much, and thank you to the audience for watching.
Yeah. So, first of all, guys, you know me here on unMadeGaming. If you haven't hit that follow button, what the fuck are you doing? Just kidding. Just one little boop. So first off, Johnny, thank you so much. You're always a pleasure to have on the channel for those one shots. This is the first time you've actually run a full campaign on my channel. I've been on a few on your channel, which has been awesome. Hence you being here. So thank you very much for running this. I apologize profusely for the shit we put you through. I'm sure you loved every bit of it. I'm sure you haven't lost any of your luscious locks of hair. I'm sure you haven't gone prematurely gray, but
there's gray right here, buddy.
Yeah,
there's gray right here.
Right over here. But I'm sure you've enjoyed every moment of it as we have, and I know you're chomping at the bit for season 2. So I'm ecstatic to be going through this experience because
it's not just 2 of you guys, right? It's not 2 seasons, 2 shows. It's 3, right?
3 now. Yeah. So I am ecstatic to go through this because this is by far the first time I've seen something this complicated run on Twitch. This is not only a stream run by a different streamer on my channel, this is a stream run by a different streamer on 2 channels and starting in 3 weeks on 3 channels. So this is the largest undertaking of cooperative tabletop I've seen in a shared universe, which is beyond crazy. Which is why we're going to be getting really into the nitty-gritty of that on Friday, so definitely check that shit out. And obviously, thank you, Mr. Ninja. Thank you, Slade. Thank you to all of the cast members here, between Shroud, between Phantoms, anyone that's helped out. I know we have a wiki that exists. Someone made that for us. That exists. Huge special shout out to Owlbear for making all of the amazing artwork for this, all the character artwork, all of the promo artwork. More to come. That was awesome shit. He did that all because he loves the game, and it was completely pro bono, and that guy's a rad dude. So definitely go check him out on Facebook. Wow. On Twitter. And he just started streaming as well. He does artwork on stream, and he plays a few video games, so definitely check him out as well.
Yeah, and he's going to be, we were just talking off stream, apparently he's going to be doing some of all the 6 and 20 artwork on stream. And we're going to be talking about that, at some point on his stream to kind of bolster his involvement as well.
Awesome.
So
Cool.
that's it's really awesome.
So I appreciate all of the viewers here that have been sticking around for this season. This has been the shortest season we've had on unMadeGaming, and I think it's gotten the most attention because it's so crazy and all over the place and so different than your typical D&D role-playing high fantasy. It's dark, gritty, violent, sexy, and it's very noir, and everyone loves that kind of thing. More buzzwords. How many buzzwords can I put in here? But yeah, with that, guys, and all my appreciation and accolades, let's go raid our friends, Saving Throw Show. They are currently playing something, that's for sure. They are playing some D&D 5e over there on their show. I'm actually going to be hanging out with them at Gen Con in 5 weeks, a number of weeks, which is going to be pretty cool. So definitely go check those guys out. And from all of us to you here at unMadeGaming, bye-bye.